Hi, Shorty.
Fingers crossed, StreamYard's being a little bitch tonight, apparently. Very frustrating when we're professionals here. I'm fucking professional.
She's a fucking professional. No, goddamn it.
Miss Shorty, you're muted. Miss Shorty, you're muted.
God, yes.
Endearing, it's iconic. Cheese breaks, fate breaks, staying hydrated. It's Shorty time. She's a fucking delight. Trial watching trials and tribulations. It's Camp Shorty calling all nations. What are you drinking? Shall we skip this part? Left or right-handed? Shit, she slid it to the start. She's a fucking professional. Yo, goddammit. You're muted, what? And daring, it's iconic. Cheese breaks, fate breaks, staying hydrated. It's Shorty time. She's a fucking delight. Psychology corner. Let's learn about stuff. New Miss Shorty music. Calling their bluff. Best chat, best community. We've got the best minds. A safe, supportive sanctuary full of fun and love. Rock out with your cats down. Curse all you want. And here at Camp Shorty, we even say kind. She's a fucking professional. Yo, goddammit. You're muted, what? And daring, it's iconic. Cheese breaks, fate breaks, staying hydrated. It's Shorty time. She's a fucking delight. Hey, Shorties, what's doing, y'all? Get in here, Shorties. Let's fucking go. Camp Shorty. Camp Shorty. Camp Shorty. Camp Shorty. Camp Shorty.
Hi! I forgot to put myself on the stage. Hi, Shorties. It's like, hi, good to see you. Hi, Shorties. It's good to see you. Pulling out the emergency treats for the dogs right now because pigs is. We've had enough pigs is for one day. Ladies first. There you go. One for you, big boy. Hi, everybody. Hello, hello. Lainey says, I'm dancing in my kitchen. Yes, yes. We do have a different intro song for the new year, but it's not the new year yet. You'll love that one, Lainey. It's got a real reggae beat to it. Stephanie Blabity Blah is already going feral. Hi. Simmy's here. Lainey says, I love this song and it's in my head all week long. Yes. Did you like the intros, the trailer beforehand? I love that one. Silence the sound. Stephanie should be drinking water. Yes. Ms. What the Fuck's here? She had to restart her computer. Ugh, technology. Hey, I thought you're going to love it. I'll have to commission Ms. What the Fuck to start making that intro video soon, I guess. No need to put the extreme last minute pressure on her. Ms. What the Fuck? Sidebar. It's a Shorty New Year. It's a cool one. It might be a bit triggering. She was going to say, Ms. What the Fuck in the private chat said, I was going to say, send it now. Lol. I will do that. I will do that. Cool song for the trailer song. Yes, I was watching you all in the chat while I was sitting here just going, we're like an hour and 5 minutes early for a stream. Was this ever happened before? Hi again, Candy. Hi. The drums. Yes. My interest my extreme hyper focus on geopolitics for the last 5 weeks is changing what songs I write. That's for sure. Thanks, Simi. Replay crew. Hi. What are we doing tonight? Well, let me talk about it in a minute. First, replay crew, if you'd like to watch the live chat replay on your handheld device, your Apple, your Android, tablet, iPad, easy peasy. All you need to do is go to the couple of little dots in the comment tab, swipe left, and it'll give you the option to watch live chat replay instead, or as well as leaving a comment. Tell us what you think. Things are about to stray a little bit further than our standard kind of narcissists, psychopaths, dark personalities. We're going to talk about some, and it's relevant, well, we aren't. The Broskis are. If you missed part 1, this is part 2. Have I linked part 1 in the description? I will if I haven't already, but it's in the playlist, Psychology Corner playlist. Everything will be timestamped for you down below. Don't forget to hype the video. If you've already liked the video now, thank you. If you haven't, why haven't you? It's a really good way, a helpful way, a free way to support our content here at Camp Shorty. Because here we are at Psychology Corner. Colors is here. She got lost. Well, we're glad you're here, just in time. Exactly, Steph, echoing exactly what I was thinking. Colors, you're here. That's what matters. I get lost a lot. Yes. Buster, what is it with you? Buster wants to go out. Yikes. So we watched part 1. We watched half of, we did some decomplexification. We metaphorized some things. We learned some new words that are kind of made out words. Shout out to our Camp Shorty broskies. Exactly. We love the bros. And made up words. Simi even wrote a song using those made up words. Suno is the tits. Simi is also the tits. Now, so how do I do this? Every time. But you'll get it's just a general conversation. There's no it's an organic, a fluid conversation, right? Now I've got to find what this is called. Gosh, it's like I've never done it. Here it is. This and that. That's it, Stephanie. Exactly. Shucks. Now let me just do a few little housekeeping things. I've queued it up to a timestamped spot in here. It's an approximate spot. I think we're about 3 minutes before I think, give or take. We're around all that to say, which is about where we were up to. So this is Bob Breedlove. I don't know what's his channel called. Something. Oh God, what am I doing? What's that? Go down. Hang on. Let me check again. WIM Robert Breedlove. His last name is Breedlove? Is it actually? IDK. He breeds. Oh, God. It's all right. I've got this. I've already. Oh, my God. What am I doing? Pretend I'm a professional, please. Please and thank you. Excuse me. It was back here to 119. 116 was the timestamp. So, there. Okay. Oh, we're back in business, shorties. Where am I going to be on the screen all of a sudden? Ooh. Big rectangle. Okay, I'll fix that in a sec. Shall we? Oh, it's on mute.
Right. If you want to ensure I'm not being manipulative consciously, the first box I needed to check, I think you said, was, am I concealing any intent in this interaction?
It doesn't mean, do I have to be openly talking about it?
Sure.
The whole time, but it's, instead
You're
of
not
like
misleading them consciously, basically.
Yeah, so it's like, here's a flyer. We're doing a seminar tonight, and if you stick around for the whole thing, we're going to teach you about these timeshares, and I'm going to give you a free toaster oven. And nobody tells you you're getting a sales pitch, right?
Right.
That's the kind of stuff where there's manipulation.
Okay, so was that concealing intent? Because it sounded like she was saying everything that she's going to do.
No, she said we're going to teach you about this stuff.
Oh,
Like,
okay. But the intent's to sell you the
I don't
condo.
know what the sales pitch is.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
I know
okay.
that like that's really very concealed.
You got it.
Guy knocks on your door and says, "I'd like to
Even from
demonstrate how
the
good
other
this
side, or
Kirby
even the
vacuum
other
cleaner is."
Mm-hmm.
Very open
No,
Straightforward.
doesn't make
Yeah.
sense.
Okay.
and very successful. Still
Yes.
very successful.
Yes. Okay. So the question I wanted to ask about
the
that
rate?
is, that sounds perfectly correct. But then I think of what Sun Tzu said, something like all warfare is based on deception.
We watched this bit.
And so this is a problem I've struggled with
BRB.
philosophically.
Go out.
It's like
Oh, wait.
every other human is a potential threat or enemy at all times because people can do whatever in a moment, right?
Yeah.
So how do we, and maybe this goes all the way to Christ, because I was going to say the philosophical question is like, how do you decide, are you dealing with a friend or foe? But then the Christic answer is love thy enemy, which I think is probably one of the most difficult commands or suggestions he gave us.
He never said get shot by the enemy.
Correct.
Right. So I think the military has a very clear pathway to determine is this a friend or a foe?
Mm-hmm.
It's does that person have the capability to kill me?
Mm-hmm.
Check. Okay. Do they have the opportunity to kill
Mm-hmm.
me? So like if I had a gun on my hip right now, do I have capability and opportunity?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Third thing on the triangle is intent.
I know.
I
it's the
haven't
hardest
heard
one,
it,
right?
Micah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if I say I'm going to kill you and then I stand up and start drawing my weapon, that's intent.
Sure.
I've demonstrated intent.
Yeah.
You were talking about like concealing our intent.
Yeah.
The difference between war and life and blurring the lines. I've been on 9 deployments, man.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's really
I'm
hard.
Sure. Yeah.
And I firmly believe it is like, I will give you the phone number of every one of my clients. I firmly live the value of we rise by lifting other people.
Yeah.
But there are moments where me taking down one person is going to help other people
Sure.
rise up.
That's got to be the most difficult. Still, the difficulty remains, all right? Is this the most difficult thing in human experience, is making that particular decision? Because you're still dealing with the intent, which can be concealed. And then you're still dealing with kind of the utilitarian-esque calculus of like, is taking this one person down going to lift other people up?
Utilitarian-esque. Utilitarian-esque. I don't mind that one. That I would say that. I would also say ish at the end of things, to like esque-ish. It's even impossible to say. Decomplexification. That's a lot of syllables, man. That's a mouthful.
That's not typically
is
not
like-
an objective math problem, right? There's a lot of subjectivity.
Yep.
Too hard
The
to
trolley problem comes to mind. Like,
Yeah,
can you say some more? Like, how do we deal with that? It's like, it seems to me like it's irreducibly complex.
it is. But I think what we were speaking about at the beginning was a psychological problem.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle,
and we've drifted into
hi,
philosophical
yeah.
problems,
Mm-hmm.
Our
Okay.
original
Okay.
which I think
Kyle.
I'm in. Can't tread that water.
Got it. Okay.
I don't consider myself an expert.
Pause. Good timing, Kyle. We've literally only. This is we actually. Are you? Wow. Words. Make yourselves into an orderly line and then come out the door in a sentence. Thanks. If I think you had to leave anyway. This is a bit of overlap from the end of what we watched last week. Ms. What the Fuck has very kindly told me that as of now she has linked part 1 in the description box. So it is 1,250,000,000% now there now. Oh my goodness. Why can't I speak properly? It's like I'm drunk. I'm not. I wish. So part 1, if you haven't watched it already, and also this whole video, Broski, the bro chat, is linked in its entirety in the description box also, if you'd like to hear it without my commentary. I'm not sure why you'd want to do that. Just saying. I'm joking. It's there if you want to go back and find something more easily than with me yammering on. Who is the guy on the left? Well, Micah, I'm glad you asked. His name is Robert Breedlove. Breedlove. I'm skeptical that that's his real name because it seems pretty wanky. Just saying. He's a broski. I'm not sure. Did we do any research about him at all? No, I think we just mocked his made up words. If you can set aside the made up words, because there are many. Hang on, let me just check. What's his shtick? Let me see. I don't think we ever looked.
Everyone's always bitching about the debt, but
Wow.
we just keep spending money. Like no
God
business
damn, what are we
survives like
doing?
that. That's
Stop with that. Welcome to WIM Media. This is Robert Breedlove and Eric V. Stacks, the host of the WIM podcast. Through long form conversation and some wild adventures, we are seeking to cultivate more meaning in life and, dare I say, decomplexify all of the complex stuff. That's me editorializing. Join us on our mission to become wiser, smarter, and healthier. KK. This is him. Here's a Russian space naut. I'm not sure if they realize who their target audience is. Well, it's probably not us, but that's why we're broadening our what we watch to include some bros, because you know. Now, where was I? So let me copy the channel in. If you're a bro and you want to be more bro like, here, this is the way to get there. We get there with this. And then, of course, everyone knows who Chase Hughes is, right? Okay, KKK. Now I don't know how to find it. Can I go back? What are we doing? I've lost it. I've lost our spot.
me.
Oh, good.
We are all
Oh, my God. I
one.
literally lost the
If you
spot.
think this comes down to like left versus right,
Hi,
you
it's
are a
me. I'm the
victim of-
literal problem.
Would you rather have one
Oh my God, an
Bitcoin
ad.
today or 2 Bitcoin a few
No
years from
Bitcoin.
now?
I would like a lot of
Bitcoin
Bitcoin.
mining is a tried and true strategy
Okay.
for accumulating
Go back
Bitcoin.
just a little bit.
Astrology, I know astrology is sort of poo-pooed on today in the
Poo-poo.
modern age, but like Carl
Poo-pooed
Jung
on.
said something about astrology was like the culmination of
Wait,
all of our knowledge.
so we don't say poo-pooed on, we say shit on, or we say poo-pooed. You don't say poo-pooed on. Oh, bless. I love a bit of Bob Breedlove. He's kind of cute. You know, like Who is Chase? Sir Chase Hughes. He's the besticles, just like testicles, only way better. He's one quarter of the behavior panel. He is he's a don't ask colors. Don't ask colors, because colors isn't a huge fan. She'll tell you he's a fraud and a liar. He's none of those. I mean, perhaps he is. Objection relevance. Objection relevance. Who? Bless your heart. Objection boomer. I am a Gen X boomer, absolutely. Micah, are we talking about Bob or Chase? Chase, I love Chase. Exceptionally large soft spot for Chase Hughes, or a hard on? No. Okay, so that. Oh, behavior panel. You know him? So Chase is the one that's in the bottom left corner of the behavior panel. Bless all your hearts. Stephanie's picking up what I'm putting down with Chase. She can explain it to you. He has machismo, but also, oh, I love him.
Psychology up until a certain point.
I think
You
that's
know,
good.
so like it's not, I don't know if it's
No, I think we're good.
whatever. I don't know your opinion on astrology, but these types of
No, you
frameworks.
did really
I think
well.
all models are wrong.
Okay.
Some models are helpful.
Yes. Fair enough. How do we then, do you just kind of
Hi, Britt, by the way. Sorry,
use
hi, I
all of
saw
the
you.
models and synthesize them and get the approximation?
Oh, God.
We have, when it comes to dealing with an individual person,
Mm-hmm.
we have our own system that's very efficient. Like you can run it on me in less than 6 minutes with just us talking about work or
Sergio over the
vacation or
behavior
whatever.
panel. Yes.
And people will
Different-
reveal all
different
of those
vibe.
pieces.
Okay.
And this is a profiling.
I love Sergio. There's room for all of them. Tony? Hi, we've missed you. So you still need to pick your prize for the hot box. Cab Shorty cookbook. Cab Shorty hot box. Goodness gracious. I'm a child who has wandered into the middle of a movie and I have no idea what's going on. You're like a child. Well, sir, it's kind of a meandering conversation that's about to sort of sidestep from our usual relatively narrow rails of psychopathy, narcissism, dark personalities, and verging into some more kind of, even though this was a 5 or 6 month ago now conversation, well, that's when it was uploaded, streamed, whatever. He's about to start talking about psyops and some intelligence stuff, as in CIA level intelligence stuff. Or no, I'm using bad words. Ms. Woozy says she's working on homework while she listens. Hi, Woos. Good to see you. If I haven't said hello to you, I'm sorry. I'm weirdly scatterbrained right now. Not sure why.
System I developed for the government called 6 Minute X-Ray. It's even a Amazon book called 6 Minute X-Ray. And it's just listening to the language to figure out, what does this person need from other human beings? How do they need to feel?
Ms. What the fuck has been working behind the scenes? I feel like it's relevant before we let out. Ms. What the fuck? Hello, have you got that there? Are you there? Are you there? Hello, God. Are you there? God, it's me, Margaret. Hi.
Slow Judge Everett. Yeah, I have been, since you were calling them bros and broskis, I was just like doing stupid stuff in the background because I can't.
Because it's fun. Yes.
Yeah. So I asked, I did something, so I'll just share the screen. Let's see. I think that's just
Will I
first.
unshare here?
Yeah.
Let me unshare. Wait.
There we go. Okay. So the first thing I did is I told it to create an image of 2 stereotypical bros sitting on chairs with podcast mics. And this is what it thinks 2 stereotypical bros look like. And it just it's had me giggling for a little bit. Just bros hanging out, broskis. And I love that. That's what
At least
ChatGPT thinks.
these 2 guys have not got their foot on the coffee table.
Right. So then I was like, okay, but can you make their chairs that they're sitting on orange and have a table in between them? And so then it gave me this. So now they have orange chairs, little table, and the table is so tiny.
It is a tiny table. Do you think that's not so that makes the ratio makes them look bigger?
I don't know, but the tiny table just gets me. I don't understand why it's so small, but I don't know. AI is so weird.
Micah wants you to do, please do 2 stereotypical Indian bros with podcast mics. What, so Kash Patel? Lol. Sorry.
2 stereotypical Indian bros. Okay.
Yes. It's a bistro table, says Lainey. Britt Ketchell says, they're touching knees. Good spot, Britt. Oh. Undersized props or giant trucks, pickup trucks, right?
You're right. Oh, there you go. That's probably why, because they're bros, so they would definitely have that.
Absolutely. All right. Well, I'll let you go and continue on with your behind the scenes busy stuff. I love it. And yeah, Micah, you know it. Hey, Micah, Kash Patel, I'm not Kash Patel. John Kiriakou is a very interesting guy. I've listened to a Spaces where he was the guest and everybody got to ask him questions. And my favorite Twitter account asked him a very good question. Very interesting stuff. Whistleblower, spent some time in jail, 3 years, can't get his pension. Mike says, no, we don't. Mike, have you got a really big truck? Because, sir, they touch pinkies too. Okay. Now, where was I? We're going back. Come on, chat. We can do this. He's a talker. He's a good storyteller, right? But the thing that got me with this Spaces was he had his agent, and there was heaps of not infomercials. They were just spruiking the wares a bit, which is fine. He's going to make some money because he lost his pension because of his convictions, right? Bloody bullshit. Anyway, shall we carry on? Yes.
Do they need to feel significant? Do they need approval? Do they need to feel like they're accepted into a group of people? Those are typically your big 3. The power might be another one.
Dogs.
But
Puppies.
there's 6 total that we teach. And then how do they make decisions based on their clothing, their behavior, their past, the patterns that I can see. How do they typically make decisions? There's 6 decision types that you can profile in a person within 6 minutes. And then finally is the values. Like at the end of their life, what are they really seeking as a result of making choices? Is it like growth or connections or freedom or sometimes information or recognition? So like the end goal of those people, and that will define your values. And when people say, oh, the sales script is 30% effective, that means that the sales script is written for 30% of those types of people.
Okay.
So if you just change the words around to understand how the person needs to feel, how they make decisions, and their ultimate goal, then everything completely changes.
Okay. So this is like curating the message for the audience.
Yeah.
Okay.
And developing empathy at the same time, especially if we're at the point of seeing people as reasons.
Hi,
It's like
Laura.
this person keeps
Coffee
doing
bar.
some annoying thing at work that pisses me off.
Right.
I'm seeing the reason first. I don't have to go say, hey, come in here in my office. Let's talk about 3rd grade. Tell me about your teacher. I don't have to do any of that. But I can tell like there's a situation that happened here that made this behavior. So I know the root of what's happening. And it makes me a
Chase said root?
1,000% more effective as a leader.
Oh God, here's the ads. Ugh.
Would you rather have 1 Bitcoin today or 2 Bitcoin a few years from now?
I
Bitcoin
would
mine-
rather understand Bitcoin, frankly. But okay.
Hey, while you're doing that,
Yes.
here you go, Micah. They have a big table. For some reason, ChatGPT thinks that their table should be big.
That's great. That's great.
So there you go.
That's great. I love it. I love it. Jump ahead. Okay. Thank you, Ms. What the fuck? Oh God, these ads are tedious.
Bitcoin custody is
More Bitcoin?
evolving.
Good God, bro. Bro. Dirty paws on bro.
It is absolutely horrible.
Okay.
Governments and their pyramid schemes, they really seem to love them.
Yeah.
It's often the way I describe fiat currencies. It's just a pyramid scheme, basically. If you're close to the money printer, you get rich. If you're far from it,
We'll
you
drop
get
it in Discord,
poor
Micah.
at the expense of those close to it.
Wow.
The royal we.
So
Help me to understand, since we're on, and you can, let's leave it in the show. Help me to understand Bitcoin and all of this. I'm ignorant to a lot of this stuff, but what do you think is the psychology behind some of this? Why is it so powerful? Why is it now?
let me explain the problem. Like Bitcoin is the solution to the problem of money, but I think a lot of people don't understand the problem of money. And there's a lot of different ways to come at it, but I'm going to try to
It's his surname,
give you the way
Tony.
that's hopefully
I have
relevant
questions.
to what we've been talking about. And a newer way I've been thinking about money myself recently is
His surname is Robert Breedlove, which is quite the mouthful, which I'm sure he loves. I have questions as to whether that's his God-given government name. Oh, my tummy's grumbling. Or whether it's his like stage name, Breedlove. Goodness me.
like, okay, you have an organization called the central bank. It uses the force of law to prevent any other business from getting into the currency production game. Right. So it's a centrally planned institution. Imagine if we only had one business that could make cars and anyone else trying to get in the car making game got shut down by the force of law, with coercion or violence. Well, you wouldn't have free market capitalism. You would have Soviet style economy, basically.
Right. Yeah.
More accurately.
Pause, Micah. Keep listening because he actually does explain this quite well. He's got a good point. The Federal Reserve and the bankers of the world and the banks of the world are all controlled and owned by a very small minority of people, the oligarchs. This is going to be hard for me to contain my newfound understanding of all this stuff. What Bitcoin does is take your money and take your power away from those oligarchs because the more money that the Federal Reserve or in any country, the more money, physical money that they print, reduces the value of that money. Right? It super saturates the market, and then that money has no value. Whereas Bitcoin See, I do understand. Bitcoin is actually self-regulating, and this is where I start to lose understanding what Bitcoin is, but it's not able to be taken away from you. You could lose your access by losing the wallet or whatever, but you could also pretend you lost it, and still have the money. I just don't understand how one uses Bitcoin. Like, how does it work? I don't get it. Yes, I think he's just trying to decomplexify it, Micah, to make it understandable. I think it's a pretty flat pyramid scheme though, right? Traditional currency is basically the big people own it and can print it, and we all aspire to have it, and it's the root of all evil. There it is. Same as dollars though. Same. But the difference between Bitcoin is my understanding. The difference between Bitcoin and traditional currency is that with the way things are going politically, worldwide, might be smart to have money in other places than the bank and hard cash. I don't have any money, so it's a moot point for me. Anyway, this is the topic because this is what he's talking about.
A diseconomy and its long-term consequences that it fails, as the USSR showed us. We have the central bank in every modern economy. So if money is 1/2 of every transaction, then 1/2, we're 50% communist, basically, or Marxist.
Wow.
And this is not, I'm not embellishing. This is in Marx's 1848 Manifesto of the Communist Party. Measure number 5 was the central bank. It's like, this scheme only works if we have a state monopoly on cash and credit.
Silver's easier to
So we
acquire
have
than
centrally
gold.
planned money
Yes.
in an otherwise free market world, although free market things tend to fall apart in a world with centrally planned money. Now,
Pause, Micah. You got to remember also the 2 ads I just skipped through were both Bitcoin and cryptocurrency ads. So he has a vested interest to skew it, to misstate the facts. So, but here we are. That's why we're discerning minds, and it's really, really helpful to have people who understand it more than we do, than others in the chat. He's 100% a douche, but just let him, because what we can do is we can take the pertinent things from the conversation and let them open our minds to some things, and other things we can be like, I'm not sure about that. He can metaphorize it. Like he can do all of the things.
that's
moves
kind of
on.
just the rough institutional description of it.
And is this all, were we running this way pre-Federal Reserve?
So the first central bank,
Good point,
I think
Mike.
it's Bank of,
Thank you, sir.
I hope I'm saying this right, Bank of
You're an
Antwerp.
invaluable addition to
May
the
have been the
community.
Bank of Amsterdam. One of the two was like the first central bank.
with Cam Shorty, finding out something new every day.
Yes. I look, dirty paws on Rob. Did you like that one? Wait till you see the new merch one, Tony. We're gonna hold that. We'll hold that.
600-ish years ago, but the same shareholders of those central banks. Then the Bank of England is the one that came after that, which is
Vested
the real big
interest.
one. The Rothschilds
Don't worry,
is a big
it's very
famous name that are known to own this bank, but there's a handful of other families that also own it. And apparently they own all the central banks in the world. So they have, there's 300 people,
Indeed.
more or less, that
Indeed.
have like 50% of the world's wealth.
Okay.
And
I
it's-
didn't know any of this, by the
Yeah,
way.
through this institution called the central bank, basically. Now, if you wanted to read about it, this book here, The Creature from Jekyll Island, is fantastic. I would start there. There's a lot of other books that go into the central banking rabbit hole.
Okay.
What I'd like to tie into the context of our conversation, though, is I've recently been thinking about the power to print money is sort of like a pseudo form of mind control. Because if you can just print money, well, then you can, print money out of thin air, basically, right? So, and to be more specific, I call it counterfeiting currency. So if you or I counterfeit a $100 bill, well, then we get in trouble, right? That activity is the exact same activity that the Federal Reserve is doing by the trillion, right? There's no economic distinction whatsoever. There's just a legal distinction. I like to say it's which way the guns are pointed, right? Like they're pointed at us, telling us we can't do them. But inside the central bank and the shareholders of the central bank, they do get to profit ad infinitum from currency counterfeiting.
Okay.
So if you can print money out of thin air, and money is the thing that can be used to acquire any good or service in the marketplace, well, then you can print goods and services out of thin air, up to and including media institutions, social media influence, fake research, fake science, fake news, propaganda, like all of these things.
And sidebar, this for me is where it starts to get super, super interesting. Because, I mean, those of you that aren't spending all of your hours on Twitter like I am, and no, not in the quagmire in learning spaces. This is all very, very pertinent, interesting, given that it was, half a year ago. I mean, it's always happened, but
all of these lies. Yeah, these lies, which the money, the counterfeited currency is a lie in and of itself. Like it's a debt-based money, which if money is the final extinguisher of debt, how can money be debt-based? That doesn't make any sense. You can never use it to settle with finality. So the money's a lie, but then it leads to the generation.
We're living a lie, sir.
The generation of all these other institutionalized lies.
It's all
and
a
so
lie.
what happened during the pandemic? We printed $8 trillion in the United States. We printed $8 trillion. So the Federal Reserve's founded in 1913. Pandemic starts in 2020, so it's 107 years. I think we increased the dollar supply like 40% in a year. So of 107 years of dollar production, almost, whatever that is, 40% of every dollar in circulation was printed within that 12 to 18 month period.
Okay.
Whoa.
And the other half of the dollars were printed over 107 years. So it's like this.
And this wasn't like a Republican Democrat thing.
No,
this
no,
was
no. The central bank is privately owned.
Yeah.
Politics is a puppet show. It's all here to distract you.
This is what I keep telling people. Like, if you think this comes down to like left versus right, you are a victim of.
You're a victim of psyop.
Yeah.
Amen. Exactly. So this is where that's where it's a frame. Like money has a lot of different definitions. That's what's made this show like. That's been kind of the backbone of the show is like we try to define money, and there are strict economic definitions, but then there's all these other definitions that people have brought from different perspectives. And this is one of them. Like it's kind of,
I would have never thought of that. I would have thought like, oh, I want to define money. I'm just going to go look in a dictionary.
Right on.
Yeah.
But there's a challenge there to this. There
is a challenge.
There's a mental side of money.
Totally. You little.
Okay, I interrupted you though.
But you're on to what I'm saying here. Because it is a language, money it's often called the language of value or the language of power or the language of human action.
It's all right. We move on from this.
Right. We're communicating through money when we price things in money, when we negotiate deals in money, when we think about, plan our own financial affairs, we're thinking through money, right? We're using it's like numeracy or literacy. Right? It's basically numeracy, but it's applied to economic reality. And so if you corrupt a language, right? And this is what many aspiring dictators do, right? They take over the media and they'll say, oh, these are the stories you'll print. You're not going to use these words. Label these people as this thing so we can, justify this atrocity against them. I think it was said that the purpose of propaganda is to make one group of people forget that another group of people are human. All right. So during the pandemic, we had anti-vaxxers.
Yeah.
Okay. Round up the anti-vaxxers and put them in the camps and take their jobs. It's like by switching the label from people to anti-vaxxers.
I remember seeing an ad during that time in my life. I don't remember what news outlet it was on, but it's like, if you haven't been vaccinated, it's time for end of life planning.
Yeah.
And people are calling for the death of people who of the unvaccinated.
Do you remember the White House statement they put out like before Christmas break?
I do, contrary to what people think, I do not watch the news.
Yeah,
I don't follow hardly anything.
I also don't watch the news or follow any of that shit, but this was circulating on social media at the time. The White House had put, I guess it was just their website, their press statement, whatever. And it was like, if you haven't been vaccinated, you better get vaccinated now. And if you decide to not get vaccinated, you can look forward to a long and cold winter full of death.
Yes.
And it was like,
I do
it was like
remember
something out of a comedy movie. I'm like, is that really what they put on their fucking website? And
Yeah.
Weird times, dude. Weird.
That was
weird
Orwellian.
times. Yes.
And I thought it was a joke.
Yeah.
I had, because I remember seeing it on social media and I was like, nah.
I also thought it was a joke.
Then
Yeah.
I went like, let me
Fact
go to
check it.
whitehouse.gov.
Yes.
Micah, interesting. It's a different viewpoint than yours, obviously, and that's cool. We love different viewpoints, but I actually, a lot of what he says is resonating with me. It's hard, and this is a newfound viewpoint for me. Remember last week I spoke about how this video is a different viewpoint than and the conversation goes a little differently to what we're used to having. And here at Camp Shorty. And I find it a valuable thought exercise to challenge our preconceived or established ideas about the world. And we can take from that what we will. It's quite a confronting set of ideologies if they're not anything you've ever allowed yourself to consider. And I think in my opinion, the way to become even more discerning in the world in terms of our worldview is to listen to things with open minds. Yes, and to not shut it down completely. That's my take. Because the last 5 weeks for me have been exponentially eye-opening and mind expanding, and not conspiracy theory rabbit holes, but fact-based, evidence-based learning exercises. And I consider myself right now to be kind of a completely different person to who I was 5 weeks ago. It's confronting, it's exhilarating, it's terrifying, and that I am not a blind believer in what I hear. Hi, Jim, and read and see. But I love having my worldview challenged and being discerning in those challenging moments. So if you don't love this bit, it's going to continue on. But to shut down well, I was about to say, to shut down conversation. I mean, he's got a different point of view to you, Micah, and a few of you guys in chat, and that's cool. That's amazing. But I mean, I don't love his broskiness, and I don't love the yeah, Laura. So I don't know, man. I spend 24 hours a day now looking into all of this stuff because I'm concerned about the world. Very concerned. And it's terrifying to think that maybe the powers worldwide, I'm not talking about US, I'm talking about worldwide. Terrifying to think that the powers who rule over us, lord over us, may not have our best interests at heart. He's just not stating facts, facts as we know them, as we've been told to believe them. I don't know, man. So, Colours, I disagree that he's stated lies. And that's okay. Colours, you might find me a lot more aligned with your way of thinking these days. He's conflating things. I think the thing is that he is saying things that didn't happen. He's conflating things. Or maybe, or he's pushing up against the narrative, that, like me included, like all of us have been, it's the appeal to authority, right? The logical fallacy, the appeal to authority, because they told, he was talking about the pandemic, Colours and vaccines and stuff, and what the government was doing. Well, yes, some businesses require their employees to be vaccinated. Yes, but also so he's speaking in generalized terms. So to shut it down because he's generalizing things in Australia, we did have mandated. We couldn't cross interstate in Australia without having proof of vaccinations. I wasn't going to get vaccinated for COVID, but I did because I was trying to move. Trying to move interstate back to Adelaide. But are you all listening to what he's saying with an open mind, or are you going, that's bullshit, that's lies? Also, thanks, Mike. No government do. All I'm saying is we'll keep going, we'll press play, and if the things are grating against you and if they're making you go, "Eeh," that's a good, right? From turmoil and flux comes growth and evolution, challenging one's established perspectives and point of views, which it's growth. That's growth. That's growth. Mike, sir, I have a feeling you might enjoy the spaces that I go into these days. Yeah, man. So and these people, anyway, this is the stuff that interests me now far more than true crime, and I hate that for Camp Shorty, but I love it for me, because I am like, I'm awake now to everything. Not everything. I am in the process, and it is, as I said, exhilarating and terrifying, and so important. And for Laura to say, I see more. Yeah, so now he called it the plandemic. We're not going to make it about political because it's not left or right. It's all of the oligarchs. They are all politicians. They are all compromised. Nobody, left or right, red or blue, has anybody's best interests in mind. Not in Australia, not in the UK, not in the States. It's terrifying, and it's terrifying, and it's terrifying. The thing, yes, exactly. So anyway, I love this conversation, and I would love for you all to just ride the wave of, because it is kind of tough to have the stuff that you've been led to believe, the world population, as being fact, to find out that so and the media, the mainstream media, legacy media, is run by those same bunch of people. the same upper, the billionaires, the people, like, and it's getting worse and worse and worse. And we're about to go into some more stuff. So I love the conversation. Trust me when I say just sit in the discomfort of hearing things that make you feel uncomfortable because they push back against what you've been, we, all of us have been led to believe by the powers that be. That's a beautiful. Hey, Bob. I have high hopes, but very low expectations. Oh, God, I hadn't thought of that song, and now I have. Yeah, thanks, Bob. Boobs. My catchphrase, and it's on my Facebook profile, and I think I don't know, places. Expect nothing, but never lose hope. Anyway, shall we keep going? I love the conversation. Feeling like this is what we're supposed to feel when the narrative that has been laid out for us from every angle for our entire lives and for our parents' entire lives by a really tiny minority of extraordinarily wealthy people who have an end goal in mind, that feels bad because we've been we've been conditioned to go with the flow and not question anything, and the tropes of conspiracy theorists, which was actually a manufactured phrase to stop people questioning the government, right? So anyway, we're going to continue on. I love you all very much. I want you to feel comfortable with feeling uncomfortable, if that's okay. Could we do that? We can do that. I believe in you.
Make sure this is
Yes.
real.
Yes.
Yeah.
The other one that really just clobbered me. Nobody's safe until everybody's safe. I mean,
Laura, add
basically
me.
like thematically rhymed.
I'm never on Facebook, but add me.
From each according to their ability to each according to their need. It was just like, you're conflating. What does that mean? Nobody's safe until everybody's safe? Safe from what?
Just
Safe in
replace
what
the word
way?
safe with prosperous.
Yes.
Wise words, Mike.
Or whatever you like.
No matter what word you put in there, it's just nonsense.
Oh, man. And I think the propaganda, so
we go back to
propaganda
Chase
as
now.
a whole started with this guy named Edward Bernays.
Yeah.
Sigmund Freud's nephew.
I didn't know that.
A lot of people don't know.
I didn't know that.
But he was the guy, for anybody listening, he changed the Department of War to the Department of Defense. He did this big, let's get women smoking little skinny, cute cigarettes, Virginia Slims. He's the reason that margarine is dyed yellow. He's the reason that we eat bacon as part of our breakfast here in the United States. A million other things. But he was kind of the father of this modern day thing. And this leads into psyops. And if I just, the first thing I need, like if I'm at Caesar Milan and I want to take control of the dog, I need to get that leash first. And that leash is the control of information. And the one thing I've said for everybody in every situation, if opinions have to be suppressed in order for your idea to flourish, your idea sucks.
Yes.
Your idea is stupid.
Absolutely.
If people can't disagree with it, or we need to silence some people. And I'm always saying, as much as I possibly can, look for any kind of suppression of opposing views. And if you just look at the people doing the suppression, then you can find out what the right way forward is.
Yes.
Almost every time in just about every circumstance.
That's a fantastic point. I would wonder if it's not even worse than your idea sucks. It's almost like your idea is evil. If your idea requires coercion.
Yeah.
I mean, you use the word suppression, which is like, that's a...
So just remind you, the bigger picture of this conversation is about understanding people and understanding, Mikey, you missed my whole talking, but that's okay. Go back and listen to me talking. We've only just resumed the bros. That's okay. This whole thing, and I told you it was a meandering conversation that goes through our more standard Psychology Corner kind of topics about psychopaths and narcissists and reading people and psychology stuff. And now it's going into a broader sort of application of that of psychology into transferring it into understanding how that same sort of psychology of influence, that the psychology of dark personalities, of coercive control. So what we're now talking about, the bros, what they're talking about now is basically coercive control on a grand scheme in terms of society and ideas and suppression, or so
that quickly becomes coercion, right? If you're trying to suppress an idea,
Keep
and some
listening,
person
Lisa.
won't stop talking about it, well, they're going to get clobbered eventually.
Thank you.
Or canceled, or
Canceled,
Colours.
suppressed, censored, all the things.
Tony,
their account
nice.
gets
Macro
hacked.
narcissism.
Yes.
Yes.
This, by the way, that dynamic, I really think it's the entire basis of Keynesian economics, which is what's taught in schools
Mike is
and
gonna lose it.
universities across the world. It is a completely inconsistent with all economic science prior to the age of central banking.
Really?
Yeah, it just totally like forked academic reality. And one of the, there's kind of the libertarian school of thought where it's like you want low to no government, life, liberty, property, markets solve almost everything, which is one I subscribe to. And then there's this other version, Keynesian economics, where it's like, no, government is God. Government controls everything. We fix, anytime there's an economic problem, we print money. And it's this whole alternate reality. But I think it's exactly what you just said. It's like, look where the voices are being suppressed to see the shitty idea.
Yeah.
It's like they've suppressed all of the whole history of economic science, and they've promoted this pseudoscience in its place to justify the government's monopoly on money.
So was this, don't let me divert you from what you want to talk about, but this is sounding to me like when we brought in the Department of Education and we kind of copy pasted this Prussian educational system.
Yeah. What year was that?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I think 1880 something.
Okay, so this would have been slightly out. I mean, there were 3 attempts to get the central bank into the United States, and it finally stuck on the 3rd attempt, which was 1913, the Federal Reserve. Shortly after that, we got the income tax system, passports, individual liberty started to crumble very quickly. We had the Great Depression shortly after that, which, the mainstream narrative is gold caused the Great Depression. Like they didn't print money fast enough. But the true story is there was a giant credit bubble blown by the Fed, and then it was collapsed. And if you wanted to read about that, you could read Rothbard's book, America's Great Depression.
Wow.
But it's this same.
Incidentally, is what's purported to be happening in the worldwide economy. There's purportedly about to be a big old crash because all of the bulk of, and God, I'm not an economics person, so Micah, you can, and everybody can totally shut me down with this or school me. I love learning. But apparently, most of the world's investment at the moment is being invested into the fast-growing bubble that is AI, and that bubble eventually cannot sustain itself, and it's going to collapse on itself. So, yep, housing as well. There is a big crash about to come, and it feels manufactured by those top people we were talking about before. The upper echelon, the billionaires and the oligarchs.
It's this weird psychosocial dynamic where, if you
It's all
suppress
cyclic,
dissenting voices, or even if you are going to like live a lie, right? You have to suppress things. And it's like the same thing, just at different levels, either the individual.
So it's like cognitive dissonance at scale.
Yes, exactly.
I mean, I'm going to blow your mind now, everybody, but the Titanic was sunk, and it wasn't even the same boat. It was a different boat, and it was sunk for the insurance policy. Horrifying, the things people will
Exactly.
And that's the first thing I teach when I teach government people, I teach civilian people, whatever it is like 90% of influence is weaponizing cognitive dissonance.
Wow.
And no one ever says it.
There it is.
Can you
Colors.
expand
Keep
on- what does
listing
that mean,
colors.
Weaponizing cognitive dissonance. What does it mean?
So
Everything's engineered. It's all
and take
manufactured.
a super
100%.
basic example here. And you can, the moment I say this, your mind's going to kind of extrapolate from all of this.
Okay.
Is I get you to agree to a little piece of identity and I guarantee your behavior in the future. And the moment I get you to agree to a little piece of identity, I can increase the chances by like 90%. You're going to agree to this next little small piece. So like we talked about compliance escalation, this is identity escalation.
Okay.
So if I walked in here and I was like, dude, I got a question for you. Have you always been this open with other people? Or is this something you had to work on? The moment you answered that question,
We remember
you have now made an agreement to.
Mike, I'm sure you've gotten up to the point where I would go, oh my God, Mike is going to lose it. We've moved on from economics. I'm pretty sure they don't talk about economics again. So we can decomplexify the whole situation. We can metaphorize. Yeah, man. Fuck. You'd probably like the spaces I'm in too then.
A certain way with me.
Open.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And you've also made an agreement that most people are not.
Oh, I want to go back.
Or
and talk
I don't
about
even
that.
have to
Wait.
talk about your identity. Have you always been this open with other people? Or is this something you had to work on? The moment you answered that question, you have now made an agreement to act a certain way with me.
Open.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And you've also made an agreement that most people are not.
Interesting.
Or I don't even have to talk about your identity. I can get you to agree that most people live in these prisons of worrying about what people think. They live in these prisons of self-doubt.
I see.
And they're like, yeah. And the moment I get you to agree that that's those other people, I'm covertly getting you to agree to behave a certain way in this conversation.
Wow. That's fascinating. It reminds me of salespeople talking about, getting little yeses. It's like they try to just get the customer to say yeah, like to anything. Like, do you enjoy the sunshine? It's like, yes. And they just like kind of work their way up.
That's kind of a rudimentary way to do it.
Yeah.
I just trained a real estate
You got it.
person a few months ago. And she
The
was
line,
like, I
the
have
witch,
this
and the
problem, this
audacity.
problem, this problem. These people have all these beliefs. They come in with all of these objections and all this other stuff. And I was like, what's the main thing that keeps people from buying?
What
And
source
she says,
Micah? Go on 2x
well,
speed.
they
Catch
do
up.
this one thing. And I said, oh, great. The only thing you have to do is start your conversations with, when I first started learning about real estate, I knew nothing about the market. I made a self-admission, right? An admission that I didn't know something at one point in time. It makes you more likely to believe the next thing I'm going to say. And then I met this mentor, and this mentor told me, you're only ever going to deal with 3 types of clients in real estate. And I'm telling you, I'm your real estate agent telling you about these 3 types of real estate clients. And I said, the first ones are going to be worried about this. They have great intentions, but they don't do this. They don't do their checks, and they sit on their hands. They do this. So like, I'll describe 2 bad.
I've never watched the Titanic. No, that's a lie. I've watched it up until when disaster strikes, and then I cannot watch the rest. I don't care. I cannot feel that loss of life, albeit through actors and shit. I cannot do it. My empath self cannot feel all that pain and terror. I can't do it. I will never.
Ones that kind of have good qualities to them. Then I'm going to describe one type that has maybe some little reservations, like they don't take action immediately because like they like to look at details and they like to consider the information, and then I'll just describe the type that I want you to be, and you'll automatically agree to be that kind. You don't even have to say yes, I am.
Is that a movie?
Mentally agree
I don't even
that
watch movies,
that's
but yeah.
the type that you are.
Yeah, I can't.
Back to the social judgment thing, like you're trying to be judged favorably in the eyes of the other. Is that why they're doing that?
Sort of, but you're also saying, because I gave you authority. I gave this guy that told me about these 3 types.
Yeah.
He's this mentor. I'm going to build him up. He's 75 years old.
Yeah.
He'd been doing real estate for 90,000 people or whatever, how many homes. But he was like one of the top guys in the country. And he told me something absolutely profound. It totally changed my life. So now I've built up the authority of the information, which makes you believe it, which also makes you pick one of those identities.
This is all, man. I remember when my daughter was like,
Okay. Okay, bro. Steph asked for a music break, and I think we can do that, of course. I feel like that's a natural spot to break for a moment. Un momento. Let me do this. Oh, Miss What the Fuck behind the scenes making magic happen. Wizard of Oz was requested by my beloved, my betrothed, my one true love. And anything for you, Steph, so long as I can have the cheese. BRB.
Evanescent slope of grief starts high and then ends low. Smoke and mirrors, alibi eventually devours you. A black hole, an abysmal vacuity. Fall in love with yourself, it's an oceanic feeling. Symbiosis, retrofusion, Wizard of Oz replete with delusion. Nothing is real, nothing is there, holding up a mirror. Separation filled with fear, vulnerable, insurmountable, nothing to see. A black hole, an abysmal vacuity. Fall in love with yourself, it's an oceanic feeling. Symbiosis, retrofusion, Wizard of Oz replete with delusion. Pattern, latitude, ostensible platitude. The learning and the yearning, rejuvenation burning. Eviscerate your sense of self, future horizon dawn. Ba-da-da-dun, ba-da-da-dun, ba-da-da-da-dun, ba-da-da-dun, ba-da-da-dun, ba-da-da-dun. A black hole, an abysmal vacuity. Fall in love with yourself, it's an oceanic feeling. Symbiosis, retrofusion, Wizard of Oz replete with delusion. Lived it, slept in it, falling into you. Yes, no, who, me, you and you and you. Talked it, walked in it, the bullshit, the free fall. Eyes wide open, eyes wide shut, obliterate, enthralled. But no more, never ever again. Slow, deep breath and count to 10.
Ah! I was doing stuff. We're back. I just pressed a weird thing on my fucking gotcha. Good song. Okay. What? Oh my God. What am I doing? So confusing. I think it's a new thought.
3-ish years old, maybe younger, maybe 2. And you naturally, as a parent, start to use these subtle manipulation tactics where it's like, oh, she refuses to eat. And you're like, okay, she's a very disagreeable young lady. I don't know where she got that. And you're like, okay, well, you can have blueberries or strawberries. And then once you introduce the element of choice, then she's like, okay, I choose one, and then she'll eat.
Yeah.
And so is that what this is? But just like a higher level of sophistication?
No. So what you described is called double bind.
Okay.
A double bind decision that you're giving somebody. Like, do you want to brush your teeth now or in 5 minutes right before you go to bed? So I got you to agree to go to bed, and I got you to agree to brush your teeth, right? So that's a double bind. It's like I'm gonna choose something that gives me the illusion of freedom. That's kind of what a double bind is.
Okay.
You have no freedom if you agree to my question.
Yeah.
Right. So what we're doing with this other thing is I like to call identity hacking. So we're hacking a psychological principle called the consistency and commitment principle. If I can get you to say or agree that you typically behave this type of way, then later on in the conversation, I can call you in on that and be like, hey, I'm not going to out loud say it, but I'll be like, bro, you remember when you said this?
Bro. I said bro.
What about this? Let's do this. So you'll be very congruent. The study, Robert Cialdini talks about this in his book. And
Influence. What was his book?
yeah, Influence.
Yeah.
His
I've
new
read
one
one
is
of his
called
books.
Persuasion.
Persuasion. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah. He and I spoke on stage in LA probably last year or during the pandemic, but all of this study, and I think it's fascinating to just kind of go through this briefly. Let's say you have these two neighborhoods and they're identical, same median income. Everybody's got the same little Lexus, same khakis, same sweater vest, same country club membership and all that.
Now everybody's going to be fixating on the angles as we were in the last episode when they were, or the first half of this video, when they both had their feet on the coffee table and it's Chase's house. So if he wants to, that's fine. But when Chase took his foot off the fucking coffee table and bro left his on, I was like, man, read the room.
You go to one neighborhood and you ask them, would you be willing to put this sign in your yard that says drive safe? And it's big. It's like a 4-foot sign.
That's
It's ugly looking. And like 1% says yes. And you go to this other neighborhood and you ask them, will you jam the sign in your yard? This ugly ass sign. And like 90% say yes. The difference is in this 90% neighborhood, a week beforehand, they went door to door and asked them only one question. Do you support safe driving? Yes or no? Who's going to say no to that?
Right.
So,
Wow.
yeah, they said, yeah, I support safe driving. So now they got an identity agreement out of that person. Then the person flips to the back of the little clipboard and peels a sticker off a thing. It's like this big. And it just says,
Tiny.
I support safe driving. And the person with the clipboard said, do me just one favor. Will you just leave this sticking on your front window for 1 week? Just stick it out to where it can be visible from the street. So then a week later, they went and they saw all those stickers. Every one of them wanted to stick a sign in their yard because of who they agreed that they were.
Wow. So interesting. So what is identity then? It's just this narrative construct, like a story we're telling ourselves about ourselves. And then if someone,
It's a story we're telling others about ourselves.
telling others about ourselves. So then if someone prompts us to elaborate on that identity, was with the safe drive, supporting the safe driving, then we have made a commitment of some kind that we're now willing to double down on more easily.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's the principle of commitment and consistency.
Yeah.
So I get you to make a small commitment about what kind of person you are, and then you'll be consistent with it throughout and continuing. But we do have this internal identity. But whether the thing that we're doing is external or internal, if we start doing something that conflicts with that, we have tremendous psychological pressure.
Right. Okay.
So let's say,
To prevent cognitive dissonance.
well, the pressure is the dissonance. So when things are not adding up.
Yes. I was saying, so if you're inconsistent, that's the dissonance, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's say someone hates a certain person in a company. They hate their boss. But the board of directors elects this guy to be the next CEO. So this person has a belief of, I don't like this person because of this, this, and this, and I am right. And that's not their identity. Their identity isn't, I don't like this person. Their identity is, I'm smart. That's the identity that you're competing with, not whether or not they're a good person, the other guy. So he gets elected, board picks him as CEO. And what does this person do? They're like, either A, they have to say, I'm dumb, and the board actually knows what they're doing, and I probably missed something. Or B, they say the board's stupid. It's very easy.
Or third option.
And we saw it like with
Third option, they say, oh, maybe there's politicking going on and it's got nothing to do with this. Is if you're able to think beyond that very binary aspect of it's either me or them. Maybe there's more to it, but that doesn't suit the conversation.
when Joe Biden got elected. We saw it when Donald Trump got elected. We saw it on the right when Biden was elected. We saw it on the left when Trump got elected.
Yeah.
It's with everything. It's either I didn't know all the facts or I wasn't able to really see what's going on, or I'm a dummy.
Yeah.
Or they're stupid.
Right.
And it's your brain's going to default to whatever's the easiest thing to do.
Right. I was going to say path of least resistance,
Yeah.
and sort of like some maybe Darwinian self-preservation built into that.
Yeah.
Or it's like whatever identity you've established. Again, I think this was seen a lot during and after the pandemic, right? Where people got the jab, had negative consequences, and then rationalized why it was something else that gave them that adverse reaction.
Yeah.
Because they would prefer to keep their identity intact rather than modify their belief structure or admit to mistakes. Is that what's going on?
Yeah, and I don't know about the research behind any of that. But if people were having complications, but they viewed getting a jab as part of who they were. I'm a good person, so I will. Nobody who advertises that they went out and got a flu shot. Nobody.
None. Yeah.
Because it's not about identity.
Right.
So a lot of these people that were doing some of this not everybody, obviously.
Yeah.
But it was about identity. So they saw a news article where something happened, they're like, oh, it's causation versus correlation. So they have these little things that they go through in their head. They're not connected. They probably had pre-existing conditions. They probably had all this other stuff going on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, God.
One of my highest health priorities is keeping my brain in top shape.
Is this the bone
To take care of my brain
organs?
power, I do many things, such as striving to read, write, exercise.
I thought it might have been. Was it when we were talking about the animal organs? We skipped through
And
that.
meditate daily. One of the latest tools in my mind feels like it's blind, placebo is backed by research from GoToMine/Breedlove. Knowing when to buy Bitcoin can feel complicated, and knowing how much to buy can be overwhelming.
You can rant,
And
Micah.
getting
Oh my
started can be
God.
a headache, but it doesn't have to be. Convert your spirit. That's a huge win. That's wasting
Bro.
your time with app.
Bro.
Okay, in the opening to the video you just shared with us earlier, you were describing how
We didn't see a video, but okay.
a lot of, these tactics, this knowledge has been used for a really long time by
millennia.
some humans to manipulate / socially engineer other humans. But at some point in that opening to the video, as you said, but people are waking up.
Yeah.
What does it mean to wake up to this? Is it just doing what we're doing now and just talking about it and becoming aware of it? And then kind of like you said earlier, if you have this framework in mind, you're more resistant to manipulation, or is there something deeper going on?
Pause. Britt, I liken it a little bit to as a late self-diagnosed, late identified, late diagnosed neurodivergent. It's kind of the same. You can't unsee all the neurodivergence everywhere once you've had your eyes open to that, once you understand. Same with the waking up thing. Terrifying and exhilarating. I added it to my Twitter bio.
I think the powers
Look
that
at
be,
you go,
and
Ms.
this-
Woody. You're killing it. Good
I've
job.
never said this out loud, at least on the internet before, but I think the powers that be are trying to speed up a timeline that was made to take another 60, 70 years because they don't have that time to be around for it. And I think it's either that or it's getting so blatant that they no longer care. They think they're so guaranteed with a success that they don't care. And I'm not saying that I can write you a list right now of who they is.
Sure.
But there's always a they. They have been.
I mean,
there
I
a
could,
while.
but I'll leave that.
But I think that they're trying to speed up some kind of a timeline. And I teach psyops. I'm the guy that teaches psyops, telling you that we are in a psyop. 1,000%. We are in a big time psyop. And that does not mean that I have some kind of X-ray vision and I can see the puppet masters up above the stage. I don't know. I'm not saying I don't research that stuff.
Right.
But I do research these techniques. And they're definitely here. And it looks like this is the same process that's happened all over the world where psyops were sped up and weren't allowed to mature before the next.
So I don't think you said it, but if you're not sure, a psyops is a psychological operation, generally with military or governmental or the powers that be, up like the they, trying to orchestrate and manufacture an outcome that benefits the they up there, that we all, the bulk, the vast majority of society around the world has already bought into with manufactured consent. So psychological operations, manipulating the general population to be less likely to revolt or dissent to outcomes worldwide. So this is not a political party thing. This is a tactic used by all the governments around the world, forever and ever, amen, regardless of their affiliations or their leanings, their left or right leanings. So that's what a psyops is.
Next phase began. And I think people are saying, well, this is bonkers or this is ridiculous, just crazy. Like it's just in your face.
That's awesome colors.
From
Get
the
them
left,
out.
from the
Get them
right,
uploaded.
from everywhere.
Yeah.
And it has nothing to do with left or right. And I think that is
Keep
in
listening,
itself
Lisa.
a whole nother discussion.
Yes.
But we're seeing a timeline being sped up. We're seeing things done more and more in the open because there's probably not time for the previous step to mature to get our minds ready to receive the next one.
I see.
That's what it is.
And any inclination as to what caused that acceleration? Like
2030.
they lost control of something at some point?
I don't know, but it seems like the people there
Time is
wanted to
marching
do this
everyone's.
because
That's my
they
guess.
want the outcome faster.
Yeah.
And they thought that speeding this plan up might make the outcome happen faster. I'm
see.
speculating.
Yeah, no, that sounds about right. The only addition I would have is the they that people often invoke. The version of that we like to use on the show is shareholders of central banks. Like it might not only be the shareholders of central banks, but those are definitely the guys at the tippity top, right? That profit from all the money printing. And again, if you control the money, you control the world. There's a famous quote from I think it was Amstel Rothschild. He said, "Give me the power to issue a nation's currency, and I care not who makes its laws." Right? You can, well, through the lobbying mechanism, you can rewrite laws if you can print money. So why do you even need to concern yourself with controlling the legal system as long as you control the money?
That's terrifying.
So yeah, there's definitely some opposing forces going on here. I'm not super clear on what they are either, but I do think the economic vein is very important to it all.
Seems like a spiritual and non-spiritual.
Follow the money. Speculating. I think they're speculating as to who the they are, but it's pretty. It's pretty well able to be laid out in dot points that that there's something going on. It's terrifying. It's very confronting. But that's what I said. Just let yourself open up those. Not you, Lainey. Everybody, allow yourself to consider beyond what we know. Lisa, don't say it. I've already said it.
Kind of
Yeah.
vibe
I don't know
around
what I
the
said,
world.
but I always
Yeah.
say it.
And you don't have
me.
to include that. You can edit that out if you want
No,
to.
no, no,
but-
no, no. I very much like talking about spirit.
Okay, I'm going to go back a little bit because that was a
I was
different.
gonna-
They segued into
Around the world.
Yeah, like vein is very important to it all.
Seems like a spiritual and non-spiritual kind of vibe
Yeah.
around the world.
Yeah.
And you don't have to include that. You can edit that out if you want
No,
to.
no,
but-
no, no, no. I very much like talking about spirit. I was gonna, before we went to the break earlier, I was gonna
Right.
ask you about empathy, actually,
Yeah.
pause.
and that seems
So we just noticed he goes, no, I very much like talking about spirit. I think he does come back to it, but Chameleon, yeah, man. Chameleon, I love that shit. Wait, that probably should have warranted something more baby AI. Hang on. I just don't know what it's called. Wait, this one. Yeah, boy. I love this. Promote this shit. Oh, actually, you know what? Before they go into, he's going into a different thing, into empath. So we're like I said, we're weaving in and out of stuff where we're comfortable with talking about here in Camp Shorty, and stuff that's maybe a little bit more confronting. So you're welcome. But while I think of it, and because it's fantastic, time for an ad break.
Merch, pal. She got that merch now. Get that Miss Shorty merch, how? Get it from the Miss Shorty merch shop now.
How cool is that? How cool is Miss What the Fuck? Isn't she amazing? She made that overnight. Stop it. And the little music, the little jingle, the jingle on Suno. Wow. What a talent. I'm so excited and so proud of myself. No, of being able to give Ms. What the Fuck the opportunity to learn new skills and hone her talents, which are clearly there. She's very, very good at what she does, and I'm very appreciative. Very good, very good. Okay, let's go back. So he's changed the subject, bro. No, I do think he comes back to he lands it. Wait,
like, you know, you're saying spiritual versus non-spiritual. You could also say like people that have empathy for other people,
Yeah.
and people that don't. Right? You treat people as a means to an end rather than ends in themselves. And, you know, that's not entirely maybe crisp, because I think it's also okay if we're a means to an end for one another. So as long as we agree to it,
Sure.
right? Like you're a guest on my show right now, right? You're
Yeah.
a means to me making a podcast, but you agreed to come here. I mean, I didn't
you are
coerce
a
you,
vehicle
hopefully.
for my
no
words.
invoice or
Yeah, there's
anything.
no invoice.
Yeah.
Like we're just doing this to hopefully spread ideas that are useful for people, but it's also in your interest, right? Like
Sure.
to some extent. I mean, you've been on much bigger and better podcasts than this one, but
I don't know. This is a much better conversation.
okay, thank you. Anyways, like I don't know if it's just empathy per se, but if you have empathy
Yes,
for
it is,
other
Stephanie.
people, you tend to treat them better, right? If we're defining empathy as, I hope I'm doing this correctly, it's like me putting myself in your shoes,
Oh, Mike
right?
went back to white.
sympathy is
Oof.
different. I don't know. I'll let you maybe answer that one. I'm not entirely sure. But empathy is also this.
Jimmy's-
The
oh,
one thing I was
Jimmy.
going to mention earlier too is I can't remember his name. It was a particle physicist, and he
God.
was saying like to understand how the subatomic particles moved and acted, like he actually had to empathize with the particle and imagine himself in its position. And he was like one of these, you know, breakthrough theoretical physicists.
Wow.
I should really check that in. But so it's like it's not just a human thing. Like it's somehow an ingredient to, or maybe even instrumental to rationality and gaining a cognitive grip on the world. So could we talk about that? Like what is empathy? How's it different than sympathy? And is the lack of empathy
That's awkward.
this spiritual versus non-spiritual thing you were alluding to?
Great.
Yeah. In short, sympathy is feeling something with someone. Empathy is feeling for them.
Okay.
And true empathy is, if you are telling me something, I can imagine what that would feel like in my own life, and it would create some degree of emotional recollection in myself. Even if you're telling me, like, dude, we just went to Six Flags, or I took my kids to Disney World.
Yeah.
You should have seen my daughter's face. I have empathy for that. So empathy is not just like, can I feel sad when someone else is sad? It's can I feel good when they feel good? I teach
When you're at
classes all
Camp
the
Shorty,
time
Mike.
to women on how to spot narcissists really
Okay, wait.
quickly on
Pay
a first
attention to that.
date, or I did one where it was like a speed dating, like where they have like 3 minutes or something
is
in
very
between these
interesting.
table rotations.
We've meandered back.
But one of the biggest things is, if I am telling you something that I'm genuinely excited about, I'm like, dude, you gotta, even if I'm saying, you gotta come look at my new truck I just got. And I'm describing it to you, your eyebrows should go up. If I'm saying something sad, like one of my family members got sick, I should see that expression start matching on your face. Even if your face isn't really showing it yet, I can kind of feel where the story is going. And I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? Tell me what's going on. That, looking for that in people's faces has proven to be one of the smartest business decisions I've ever made. When people want to work with my company and people want to do business with me or partnerships with me and stuff, that is bar none. I would say, if I could just teach my son one thing in life, it's like, can I spot empathy or a lack of empathy in other people?
Wow.
Will get you out of like 95% of fires that you're going to have to put out later in life.
Is that like scientific? Like when you're saying teach your son to detect these things, is it pure science, or is there an art to it as well?
I'd say there's plenty of art.
Okay.
Plenty of art there to it. Because when you're talking about
let me trust
behavioral science, we work in likelihood.
Sure.
So it's more like meteorology. I'll give you a 70. We might have a 77% chance of rain.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So it's a likelihood deal. But then the meteorologists also, well, there's AI now, but back in the day, meteorologist was an art form. I've been doing this a long time. There's a lot of experience. I've been doing this for 25 years. It's definitely going to rain tomorrow. It's definitely going to be sunny tomorrow. So when it comes to empathy, there was the third part of your question was something about spirituality. Is that right?
Yeah. If it was the absence of empathy, like people that don't have empathy or choose not to engage their empathy can, actually, I don't know. Even as I'm asking the question, I was going to say those tend to be more of the they, like the evil people, whereas most normal people seem to be relatively empathic with one another. I was asking if that was the distinction, but now I'm doubting it.
Sir, I feel that in my bones. I don't know if he told the story as thoroughly as he did, but I think I referenced this last week in the part one of this. But the speed dating thing and the empathy thing, and how to avoid, like how to spot someone who potentially isn't going to be the right fit for you. If you're telling a story to them, good or bad, exciting or whatever the emotion would be. So if you're telling them a story about, oh my God, you would not believe this, like XYZ happened and then this happened. If the person's just sitting there stony faced and not sort of like, wow, like replicating, or if you're telling a story about, my aunt passed away. She was my favorite aunt. I spent every weekend with her as a child. If that person isn't mirroring your facial expressions seemingly genuinely, of course, this can be learned and people can work out that they should do that. Highly skilled dark personalities. But it's if someone doesn't seem to be excited by the things that excite you or saddened by the things that sadden you, then that's a little red flag popping up right there. Yes, colors. Colors says the percentage in weather has to do with total area. So, for example, if it's a 30% chance of rain, it's going to rain on 30% of the area. Yes, I only just did I go there? I only just recently learned that in the last 12 months or so. I thought it meant the likelihood overall was that maybe 30% chance, but what it means is, yeah, it's going to rain on 30% of the area. Correct. Cool thing to know. I love weather. Carry on, Chase.
So I don't think empathy is the defining factor.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, everybody in Washington, D.C. would be a sociopath.
Mm-hmm.
They're all narcissists. Most of them are narcissists, but all sociopaths are narcissists, but not all narcissists are sociopaths.
Got it.
I think that if you've ever read Kafka, one of his famous quotes is, "Every man must be the hero of his own story."
Okay. Yeah.
If you were to sit Darth Vader down onto a therapy couch, he's not going to sit there and say, I just wish I could kill more people.
Yes. Right.
He's going to say, I want to save this. I don't know much about Star Wars,
Yeah.
but
I have a
wanna
feeling
save
Darth
this
Vader would
society. I
say
want
that.
to preserve this. one thing.
No, I think Darth
So
Vader
I
would.
think in a lot of evil people in real life, these people who are for like depopulating,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
depopulating our planet, they have a tremendous amount of empathy, it seems, but for future unidentified
Yes.
timelines and people.
And based on a faulty understanding of economics, for instance, like
Like
I think
you?
too many people
Oh,
are
yeah.
going to eat all the resources, but like if you actually study economics, the larger the
Yes,
population, the more free they are, the more productive they are.
Right.
Yeah.
But that's their hero's journey.
Right.
But I don't think Tony Darth Vader, would have thought back and thought, I wish I did more good in the world. He would have thought, I wish I could have overcome more populations. That.
Right. And that's their identity. So in their little hero's journey,
Facts.
it's I'm doing all these things. It's going to look bad and people are going to call me bad, but that's part of the process of doing something bold and taking this huge action. But after I do that, all of these good things are going to happen. And then the end of this hero's journey is I kind of come back. I might be dead, but they're going to build statues of me and they're going to recognize me and I will gain that notoriety after it's done.
This goes all the way back to Plato too, where
But
like
this is us having empathy for the evil people so we can understand that they are reasons.
Pause. We could do a case study of Darth Vader. Darth Vader is the proverbial fork in the road guy through the trauma. One makes either a conscious or a subconscious decision to choose light or dark, narcissism or empathicness. And Darth Vader's path took him down the road to Psychopath. Oh no, I don't understand. I've only watched the first 3. I haven't seen any more, but I believe you, Mike. All he wanted to do was save Padme. Is it Padme? God, I will have said that wrong.
yeah,
Like that level of understanding and that everyone's in a hero's journey somewhere. Everybody.
yes, every man's the hero of his own story. That lands. I was going to say it goes back to Plato too. That
Oh God,
all human action is aimed at what we deem to be good. Like even the most evil, whatever. Like Hitler is often held up as like the stereotypical evil guy. I think there's some weird things around that too. But anyways, there's been a lot of evil people that have committed atrocities. Hitler's one of them. Mao, Stalin, etc.
Yeah.
But the Platonic perspective on that is something like they actually thought that was for the good of someone, right? They thought they were doing good, like in their heart of hearts. Otherwise, they wouldn't do it.
Right.
It gets very fuzzy. down
That's how
there
you get the
too, because
buy-in,
the other
right?
thing about
So that's going back to the Psy-Ops. He's talking about the when people buy into bad shit, as as a groupthink kind of mindset, that like a brainwashed mindset of, yeah, this is a fantastic idea. It's because that appeal to authority and the laying the foundations of buy-in psychologically. So it's using influence on the masses to manipulate manufacture consent.
Empathy, and the reason I wanted to walk it back as I was saying it is because it seems like you need empathy even as a tool to do evil, right? Like I need to know,
Absolutely.
if I know something, if I know freezing my arm and then breaking it with a hammer would hurt
What?
me,
Wait,
then
what?
I can extrapolate onto you and assume it would do the same for you, right? Like I'm kind of using.
So that's a very odd metaphorization. I'll get a nose whistle. Fantastic. Double whammy. But not even a good cause, like a buy-in to believing it's a good cause because the authority, the powers that be have told us that it's a good cause. Did I do this? Darth Vader. No, he did. It was Chase. We can blame Chase for this derailing. I mean, he's a bro. I don't think he's a moron. I think he's full of himself. A very odd analogy, but he's the whole way through this. Lainey, did you watch part 1? The whole way through this, he's been he's sitting opposite Chase Hughes, right? And Chase Hughes is, I can imagine for someone like this guy, a bit of a threat and also an inspiration, because this boy's just a little, yes, but with a lightsaber. I know that one. He's just this guy's a little boy who really wants to be a big guy. He told a story about his childhood last time, about how he grew up with a lot of shame because his mother was an alcoholic and he didn't want to tell anybody. He didn't want to let anybody into his inner sanctum of himself. And when he realized that he could let go of that shame, he opened up. But deep down at his core, like all of us, did I say core or core? Like all of us, we are but the child, the 8-year-old child, most of us. Our default settings tend to be the 8-year-old child, just wishing to not be that child anymore, and responding or reacting to things as we would do were at the 8-year-old child inside. So that's the injured child. Most people have the healthy dose of that. The narcissists and the highly sensitive people tend to have a bigger dose of that. So he's trying to, like, the big muscles, the hairstyle, the bro way of talking, the body posturing, all of that tells me that Bob Breedlove is real, and the making up of words, the concepts that he knows loosely or maybe intricately, but isn't necessarily amazing at articulating them. And that comes out in those made up words like deep complexification and metaphorize. I think it's really important to, I don't know, to not, I guess, judge people for who they project right now, because there's a lot going in underneath. That's all. Maybe, Lainey, I can totally see that, because some of, and I agree. There's a fair mix of, like, Mike, like he decomplexified some of the concepts in economics, which I don't have any understanding of at all. Saying he misstated some facts per Micah. He also but some of the concepts he is talking about, for me, for example, or I think maybe Britt would agree, or colors, they resonate a little. Not all of it. Like, we're not going. There's no, for me. There's no blanket. This is all good, or this is all bad. This is all right, or this is all wrong. Yeah, like, it's a conversation. It's like he's the interviewee. interviewer, well, the conversation, it's his conversation with the expert, right? Exactly. So like, and so like, this is like, it's a very broad conversation, is it? Like, think about this is 2.5 hours, and they have covered so much, like within that sort of loose guardrail of influence and predators, and yes, he's asking the questions. But it's not really an interview. It's a conversation, and they're sharing their thoughts. And I know personally, I know a lot of fucking stuff, but the amount of times when I try to articulate them in the way that my brain knows it, and this is a neurodivergent thing a lot of the time, it's sometimes tricky for me to actually articulate the stuff that I know in my heart, but my brain doesn't necessarily always translate those things into a cohesive argument. You might have noticed sometimes I buffer. Yeah, discernment. That's right, Britt. So being particularly binary about anything in life is not often helpful. So it's I'm hi, Catherine. By the way, hi. But also if the stuff that he's positing sounds to you like any of you, all of you, some of you, like craziness, like crazy talk or lunacy, maybe that's just because one hasn't considered it before, or haven't allowed ourselves. Like I don't know. No full buy-in on anything. Discernment. So it's okay to not be a cougar. Wait, it's not okay to be a cougar. Why aren't we being a cougar? It's clear to me that he doesn't really understand what he's talking about, but he's pretending to. I guess on some, like, that's the thing. Like, they're having a conversation, and he's learning about things. He's putting out feelers in the conversation, and he's asking the expert things. And some things Chase is going, no, not so much, and other things Chase is going, yeah, right. So I think that's like he's just trying to. Bob Breedlove, I think is on one hand trying to be as that 8-year-old child, as big and knowledgeable and smart. I have a feeling his alcoholic mother probably never told him that he was smart. She probably actually told him that he was an idiot, because she was a drunk and a lush all the time, and she was probably quite emotionally abusive to him, at the very least neglectful and absent, even emotionally absent. So on one hand that, but also he is quite smart. So but he doesn't know everything, because who does? So I think you got to remember that he's this inner child wanting to be big and important and smart, sitting across from Chase Hughes, who is on this topic at least, arguably, not to colors, but one of the top minds in this arena. He studied neuroscience. Chase Hughes has still got a degree in neuroscience. He worked, all the things. So, but also he does have some interesting concepts, and also he's not the knowledgeable guy. It's Chase. So, but also we're mildly mocking Bob Breedlove for his broness and his manufacturing words, making them up. But also no, he doesn't. What? Yes, he does. So he doesn't. Okay, well, Chase says he does, and I haven't researched it. Colors has, but he's got a lot of knowledge. On that note, I will tell people that I have got 3/4 of both a Master of Business and a Master of Health Science, majoring in sound and radio. No, wait, that's my undergrad degree. I do have a Master of Health Science, Health Service Administration. My words. So if I was being maybe if I was to want to pump up my own tires, I would say to people, yeah, I've got a Master of Business and I've got a Master of Health Science. I stopped after, out of 12 subjects, 8 subjects in both, because for financial reasons. but I have a lot of learning there. So technically, I am, what's his name? Burgess. What's his name? Shannon Burgess. Technically, I'm a Shannon Burgess in terms of my degree acquisition, but I do have the knowledge. Anyway, we'll go back to it.
Empathy in a way.
Sort of. What you're kind of using is a knowledge. And if you're talking about someone that totally lacks empathy, you're using a knowledge of witnessed behavior, not felt. I don't understand that they're going to feel that. I understand that that's going to cause some pain, but it's not like I'm processing what they might be feeling in my head.
Okay.
So have you heard of Dr. Robert Hare?
No.
He's the guy, and I'm going to derail this conversation again.
Same. Britt says a degree means you've been institutionalized at some stage. Yeah, I can see that. A degree also means that I went through all of the required coursework and passed with flying colors. All of the education and training to have a degree in sound and radio production and presentation. So I was being funny. So I mean, technically never used it, but here we are now, 30 years later. Buster's dreaming. So yeah, I can see that, but also that's a rather blanket statement. That's, I don't know, like, I'm proud of my degree, and that feels a little bit like a negative slant to it. Anyway, back to it. Oh, and then I did that. Fuck.
Perfect.
He's the guy who invented the psychopath checklist.
Robert
Is
Hare.
this the psychopath test? I
Yeah.
read the book about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was Robert Hare.
Yeah.
He's still alive.
We talk about
actually.
this all the time.
I think he's about 90.
I have a really important question about this, but go ahead.
Okay. So Robert Hare, I'm going to paraphrase a story out of his book. So
Sorry, Chase, can't. Yeah, that's fraudulent and not cool. But also, I don't know. Like, if you can, yeah, that's fraudulent, not cool. Totally agree. I'd love to see your receipts on that. Not challenging you, just very interested because I love Chase a lot. But also, he's got a lot of experience in all of the things, and he talks the talk, and it all resonates with me. And so I mean I take people for what they bring to the table in terms of challenging my. Yeah, I'd love to. Send me what you got. I'm very interested. I am not challenging you. I'm just purely interested because I know you know a lot of things. You know more than me. I don't know. I just think when something resonates with you, like I feel that as an empath. So, and we could take things with a grain of salt too, right? I'd pay him $20,000 if I had $20,000, if it meant that I was as knowledgeable as Chase.
in Hare's book, he's trying to get you in to understand like how the mind of a psychopath and how they, or a sociopath, and how they think.
You said before you
So if you're a
liked
psychopath,
Chase. Have you changed your mind again?
you are sitting in your
Was it a
house
typo?
one day, or let's say you're probably in an apartment building because you're more attracted to the center of major cities where you can blend in. So you're in your apartment, you're thinking, you know what? I really want fish tacos.
Pause,
I want
pause,
fish tacos.
That's a really good point. Like, it's like, let's go back to my sex work days. And when I was working like freelance, whatever, privately, not working in an establishment. And disclaimer, reminder, in Australia, sex work is legal. It's decriminalized and it's legal. morally, maybe not so much, and that's fine. But like, know your worth. Know your worth, and if you know your worth, you charge accordingly. And if people gain from Chase's knowledge, he's also, I'm going to get his books. He's got three books, audio books. I hope they're narrated by Chase. I just find him fascinating. He rehashes a lot of the same stories. I've watched about 5 of his interviews, conversations on YouTube in the last couple of weeks. And he does have his favorite stories. Don't we all? I tell many of mine many times over.
That's really going to hit the spot right now. So you're like, all right, I'm going to go down to the store that's 2 blocks over. So you go down, you get down to street level, you start walking, and you walk by this car accident that just happened a few seconds ago. Mm-hmm. This mom is maybe holding her, maybe a 4-year-old baby that may have made it, maybe not. She's screaming. All these onlookers in the crowd are crying, and there's these people that are even stopped on the street crying and for this mom. And you look at the scene,
like,
and as you're looking at it,
he tells it every time.
You take a minute and go, yeah, definitely fish tacos. And you turn and you go pick up your food. And you get home at the end of the night, clean out the fish tacos, you're getting ready for bed, and you go in front of the bathroom mirror, and you find yourself standing in front of that mirror going like this, practicing all of the faces that you saw on the street from that day.
Wow.
That's how you know that you're a psychopath.
That's a psychopath.
I don't think that's the best story. And bro over here was like, whoa, okay. I mean, it, and he loves that story. And then another time he tells it, he says fried chicken. Another time he says pizza. I've heard it 3 times. Every time it's the same thing, just a different fast food meal. Anyway.
Yeah.
Holy shit. So what are they missing? What is that?
Well, there's a few. It's
Is
not.
it a
But that's what you're
mirror
paying
neuron or
for,
something
colors.
thing?
Sort
That's
of.
that's my point, and it's actually also Chase's point that he says it. He's also like, it's not in this interview. In another interview, he says, no, I'm amazing at like manipulating and lying, in an interrogation room or whatever it is. I can't remember the rest of the other things. He fully acknowledges that, but that he has that ability, and that's what he's teaching to others. It goes back to that a little bit of that analogy that they used earlier tonight in this episode about people like thinking that they have a good intention and making that thing happen. At the end of the day, if he, in my opinion, at the end of the day, if the knowledge that he imparts on people by way of a transactional, like for a fee, helps them, then you can't put a price on that. In my opinion, that's priceless. And he also goes around like, anyway, I'll stop defending Chase Hughes. I love him. The end.
The brain that recognizes emotion in
I'm
other
biased.
people, called the locus ceruleus, which is connected directly to our amygdala, which helps us to process fear and all kinds of emotional stuff. And so the amygdala is screwed up, and the locus ceruleus is really screwed up. There's some other. It's not just single pieces of the brain. It's like rewiring, and there's some genetic aspects to it. And then like you could be genetically have predisposition for psychopathy. Yeah. But then like you grow up in a perfect life, nothing really bad happens, and you're fine.
Or vice versa.
You could have a genetic predisposition to psychopathy, and your mom gets a really bad flu right before you're born, and that triggers the gene.
Wow.
Which is why we see a lot of these cases where psychopaths are born in the winter time. Okay. Because the mother's more likely to get sick. Wow. I can't remember who did the research, but
I was born in summer.
Fascinating stuff.
Is there a nurture element too, where they could be born normal, but then, get abused or whatever and
Yeah.
Okay.
Everybody says like, are they made or are they created?
Yeah,
Are they
yeah.
born that way? It's
Right.
It's
right.
everything.
There's no bright line.
Everything factors.
Well, is
in.
it true that 4% of populations typically are psychopathic, or is that?
I think it's an estimate. I don't
Okay.
know.
Studies have shown. Tony, you can look into it. Colors will look into it now. Maybe it's a lie.
But if you're, I'm 44, and if you're my
He's
age,
a bro, Laney.
you've probably met 800 psychopaths in your life.
Gotcha. Okay. The question I wanted to ask, because it came when you brought that, the book I read is called The Psychopath Test. I'm pretty sure. I don't know if that was the same guy that you mentioned or not, but
it's not
1%.
by
Oh, yeah, we looked
another
it up.
author. I've read that
1%.
book. It's a different book.
of the population.
But that's the. Can you ask GPT instead of the? What is this? Is this called area?
Yeah, Google says 1%, but well, might be some psychopaths over there.
Dude, I was on Joe Rogan. You can leave this in the show if you want to. And I was talking about mitochondria, and like I've studied mitochondria for a very long time. And our mitochondrial health, how mitochondria don't have human DNA, like these amazing facts.
Yeah.
But then I said mitochondria make up of like 6% of your body weight. And Joe was like, what? And then Jamie brings it up with this Google AI.
It's not a self-assessment checklist, Cheryl. It's to be done by the assessing mental health professional, psychiatrist. It's not a self-assessment checklist, and it's have you guys seen it? I've linked it before in videos we've done before when we've spoken about it. It's a check, like it's like I ticked. My ex George scored 36 out of a possible 40. It's 20 questions, like characteristics, and sort of it leaves out the component of coercive control, which Dr. Karen Miller spoke about when we watched her, the Aussie doctor, remember, a few weeks ago. It's from decades ago. It's 20 questions. See, the person who you are assessing, who you are trying to sort of determine as to whether they are, to what degree they are a psychopath, if at all. And so 20 questions, 0, 1, or 2 points you attribute to each of those 20 criteria or questions. And then depending on how it's, so in terms of like not at all, a little bit, or fuck yeah, they're the 0, 1, 2. And then and so my ex George, I ranked him like in scoring with that system a 36 out of 40. But I didn't include infidelity, because at the time I didn't realize that he was fucking around on me. So that added, Buster, just wait. That added another point. I think I put a 1 down, or maybe a 0. Anyway, it took him up to a 37. Like Ted Bundy scores a 37 or a 38 or even a 36. Can't remember. It's in the same realm, right? On that out of possible 40. So no, it's not like a self-assessment checklist. It's yeah, the end. But Google it. It's there. It's easy. That's how I found it.
AI thing. I was like, no, that's not accurate. I was like, that's accurate.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to
go out. But
I didn't want to find him on the show.
Yeah.
Like, please use.
It's funny how that becomes like the standard of truth in a way, right? Like, what does Google, the LLM say?
Yeah.
Okay, so the question I wanted to ask was this. The book that I read, Psychopath Test, it like sort of just profiled different psychopaths. Like they often, I remember, abuse animals when they're young before they go on to like abuse people.
So I'm going to tell you the Psychopath test, the Psychopath Test, the book that he's talking about, is an audio book. I've read it. It's very good. Let me go to Audible. It's funny. It's actually funny. It's stories about psychopaths. Let me see. Let's go. The author, the psychopath. Where is it? Hang on. Walk and talk chat. The Psychopath Test by John Ronson. Why is it not in my thing anymore? It's not in my... Fuck, rude. It's not in my... maybe I got it for free. By John Ronson. It's a very good book. Narrated by the author. I think he's Scottish or Irish from the UK. And he puts a hilarious spin on these very unhilarious people. So that's the art there. Anyway, totally different. Got the same word in it. Wait, Grace is here. Boo. I hope you had a good nap.
But there was some test.
40 out of 40.
This a long time ago. I want to say.
Oh no, wait.
Actually,
0 out of 40.
Audiobook.
Android.
I want to
40.
say that a test was developed to discover psychopathy in an individual, but it was developed in a way that it couldn't be gamed. And so and this ties to a question I wanted to ask you earlier, where you were saying, "Hey, I want my son to know these facial expressions so he can sniff empathy in other people because that's really good for everything in life." The question I was coming up with there was like, if someone knew that, could they go in the mirror and practice those things and like be a good mimic of empathy, even though they don't have it?
Yeah.
And so, sorry, that was like a complicated 2-part question, but like, is it possible for someone to game these ways in which we discern whether someone is crazy or not?
Yeah, absolutely. They can game some of them, but a lot of them are based.
I think a lot of the problem with like him seeming like a bloody drongo is that he's not hugely familiar with a lot of these concepts, whereas Chase is. That's why he's having this conversation with Chase. And he's laid back. Is he got is this an LA? Is this a California accent? Are we feeling like he's California? I don't know. Seems to me like a very Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure kind of a guy.
Based on even if you're 40 years old, it's going to be based on like, what are your neighbors and parents going to say about you as a child? It's hard to game. Have you been arrested before for X, Y, and Z types of crimes? Were you in trouble in elementary, middle, high school for X, Y, and Z types of behaviors? That's why it's hard to game. And then a lot of the other parts of it are talking to coworkers, former bosses, friends, neighbors, and those kinds of things. It's hard to diagnose, or there's no diagnosis of psychopath, but it's hard to get somebody on that checklist because it requires a ton of research and work.
Yeah. But if you poll the audience, that's probably the best way, right? Because everyone's cued into the subtleties and
so here's what I taught my son actually. If you all the expressions look good and everything looks great, do you feel bad after the conversation stops?
Do you feel bad when it stops?
Like, do you kind of
like
have
you wanted it to continue?
Yeah, but well, of course, if it's great, you want it to continue. But do you have a come down? So if I'm talking to a master manipulator, narcissist, psychopath, sociopath, whatever, and after that conversation, there's a drop in my feeling. That was dopamine because they knew how to trigger all of these buttons in my head. But if after that conversation, it's like, wow, that was amazing. That's little serotonin, little oxytocin kind of mixed in there, these connection and bonding chemicals. So how do you, the best way that I've ever seen is if someone's faking it, how does your heart feel? Like, how do you feel as a person after that conversation is over?
Wow. Fascinating stuff.
I led you there.
All the psychological things we've talked about today, these, I assume, get applied in a military or police setting for purposes of interrogation, right? Like extracting information from individuals. Yeah. Can you just start to tell me how that works? Like how are these things applied for interrogation?
So a lot of it, I'll just give you a quick interrogation course right here. So
yes, 20 grand.
You want to go through a few different questions to figure out like did they likely do it?
Mm-hmm.
So do I need to be interviewing you or interrogating you? Those are two different things. When I switch to interrogation, that means I think you probably did it, or you probably have what I'm looking for, the information. We're going to start with something called a punishment question. So let's say that you snuck 3 doors down to one of your neighbor's houses and kicked their trash can over. Okay. And it's a big deal. And you get called in, but you know you're going to deny it, right? And you and I sit down and I say, hey, man, look, is there any reason at all that anybody would say that they saw you walking in that area, or that it might show up on a camera or something? Because you don't have all the cameras clocked, right? But I never told you that I did have that, or somebody did say those things. So since we're starting the conversation with this, I'm either going to, if you're innocent, you're gonna be like, no, absolutely not. If you're guilty, now your anxiety is really high because I haven't told you what I know yet, and we're only one question in.
I like how it started with the reason too. Does that tie in earlier where you're talking about reason being kind of like the highest level? No, unrelated. Okay, sorry.
So, is there any reason? And you might say, well, I mean, yeah, I walked by. So you either, yes, I was there, or no, I wasn't. And the moment you say no, you don't know whether or not I'm about to flip something on the table and show you a video or bring in witnesses that said that you were there, like 8 of them or something. Like your brain is in high anxiety mode, but it's only in anxiety mode if you're guilty. So an innocent person.
Pause. Story time. So some of you might remember the delightful situation I was in basically this time last year. No, give it another month. So about 11 months ago, where I had somebody who was emailing me. There's a whole live stream on it. Emailing me, threatening to come to my home because they took issue with something that I didn't say and wasn't directed at them. And it was a perception thing based on a whole lot of things. Anyway, it was quite the mystery. Did a whole live stream called Fuck Around and Find Out with the pirate. And anyway, after this live stream, it became apparent another email was sent, this time listing my address. And so this person who lives in Tasmania, not you, Laura and Gray, well, it turns out that the person who was emailing me under the guise of it being their daughter was actually them. Like, so it wasn't the daughter who lives in Melbourne, and but that was who the pen name, that was who it was purported to be from, was the daughter, but actually it was the person who had the grievance with me. But we still couldn't work it out. It didn't quite sit. Me and the pirate. But I had a good fucking feeling. I knew what was going on, and that it was actually this person, this woman. But she was insistent that it could not. She didn't understand. Could she? Look, I hadn't accused her or hit her up about it yet, and she instead, after the Fuck Around and Find Out episode, she came back with I think she contacted the pirate because I was being snowed under with all manner of bullshit from a bunch of like women, just drama when you're a person of fucking note, jokes, just me. And so instead of saying nothing, she came back and doubled down. and came back and said, I would like to talk to you and Lisa, to the pirate. I need to talk to you because this is weird. I've got some ideas who this person might be, but I've got a few ideas. I'd love to talk to you so that I could we could work out who this person emailing you is, because I don't have a daughter by that name, and I've actually got 3 children, not 2 children. So we're like, fine, let's do a StreamYard, like not streaming, but a StreamYard like chat, like a group, like a Zoom, but on StreamYard. So she bailed on the first 2, and then finally came into the last one, all in the space of about 12 hours. And she came in and she didn't show a face. And we were talking to her and she kept saying, oh, no, this person emailing, like it could be this person who they know me and they know they on Facebook, they live in Queensland, this, that, the other. And it just was not making any sense, right? And so we're just having a chat at first, and it was an interview, right? It wasn't an interrogation. And the more sus her protestations and her so I think because the fuck around and find out episode was basically me going, look, not fucking cool, whoever's doing this. You can't be threatening me. You can't be harassing me online via emails. I'm not scared. Like, fuck around and find out. If you want to come to my house, fine. Sidebar, I was a little bit scared because this person knew where I lived. I found out after that episode and had nothing to lose. I realized retrospectively. Anyway, I'm still alive, so we're good. So after this fuck around to find out, where I think she was just trying to make me feel scared and make me feel the way she was feeling, nothing to do with me. She was feeling scared because she had at the time, she thought a dire skin cancer prognosis and didn't have any family with her. And so she misinterpreted some chatting in a live chat, which was a very small chat, which was very much banter based, very funny, fun, quirky, off the rails, and kind of, anyway. So she kept trying to, and so when she realized that I wasn't scared, that I think she wanted to make sure that she kept that fear emotion in me. So instead of me going, look, I don't care who it is, I don't care who you are, I'm not scared, she wanted to broaden the prospective list of suspects of these threatening emails. So she had this conversation. So she's saying, it's this guy, he's got a motorbike in his Facebook picture. It could be this, it could be another person. I met one person and told them about that live chat, and they and me and the pirate were like, well, that doesn't really make sense, man. Like, why would anyone who you've either never met, just a Facebook person who you reckon you've only ever chatted to, like DM'd with once, or a third party who and if it's not your children, none of that makes sense. And I'm like, in the end, I said, look, love, the only person who knows my address and would care enough about any of this, 2 random people on YouTube who actually didn't do anything to you, the only person logically who it can be is you. And the reason she knew my address is that when I did the one free Karen Reid standout in September last year, she was the Queensland representative of that. And so as a thank you, I sent her some of the free Karen Reid stickers. By the way, Sidebar still have some of them if you want one. And so I sent her that and I consider her a friend. And on the back of, I personally sent it, on the back of that envelope, I wrote my name and my return address because anyway, so when it switched from interview to interrogation and the pirate was a pussy, he was going, no, he was like behind the scenes. I was, when the revelation landed on me that it was definitely her doing this, I went off screen. I turned off my camera for a sec. I walked away and just took some big, deep breaths. And I came back and I'm like, listen, mate, I said her name. I said it kindly. I was never mean, never aggressive, but I nailed it down. And I said, the only person who can be sending these emails is you. And she was like, Lisa, what are you saying? And I'm like, the only person that it could be is you. And then she went off camera for about. Oh, she was hyperventilating, and she couldn't fathom. She hadn't thought about the fact that I would work it out. And then she went off camera, but she was still there. I think she muted. She wasn't ever on camera. She muted, and she went away, and the clock just was ticking. And me and the pirate was sitting there, and I'm like, is she coming back? I'm not sure. So we just exited out, left the studio, and never happened again. So, interview to interrogation. It went from just a conversation, gathering facts, and once I was not pretty sure, 1,000,000,000% positive that she was the one sending these abusive, threatening emails. I nailed her down with it kindly and objectively. And that's the end of the story. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. I turned my chat off because you all distract me with your chat when I'm trying to tell those stories. I don't have contact lenses, and I don't care what I look like, man. I just need to be able to see. So, anyway, I will continue with this.
Absolutely not. And there's no anxiety spike at all. And then the next question is called the punishment question. And this is, what do you, it's not just this.
Wait, I'm sorry. What was the first? I thought the first one was punishment question.
Guys.
The first one was different.
First one, I'm sorry, is a bait question.
Bait question.
Question.
Okay.
And then a punishment question. And the punishment question is essentially, and I'm
It's all been
really
nuts.
breaking this down to the bare bones here, but we're working really hard to find out, what happened and who's behind this. And I'm just curious, what do you think should happen to the person that did this? And that works so powerfully, especially on sex crimes and people that have committed sex crimes. What do you think should happen to the person that did this? You're going to hear answers that soften to a crazy degree. Somebody's like, well, definitely an apology to the family, but somebody who does something like this is sick, so they need mental counseling. They don't need to go to jail. They need to get repaired because they're broken. They need counseling. No one's going to say that, especially if it's with a minor or something like that, right? So that question is really powerful. I've used that on my kids when they were younger. And I'll ask a couple more questions after that, but if I have a reasonable suspicion that this person's guilty, I'm going to launch into this interrogation framework, which is socialize, rationalize, minimize, and project. Just those four things. And this comes from a read technique, which came from Hans Scharf, who was a German interrogator. He's the guy who kind of invented, hey, what?
If you're having deja vu right now, this is the bit where I accidentally slid it through to this point in the last week. Remember how I did? And then I was like, what the fuck? What? How? So we've heard this bit again, but for continuity. And then we slid back and I found the actual spot and we went back to where we were because I'm a fucking professional. But so that's why if you feel like you've heard this before, I was just going, why? That's why.
What if we're not an asshole to the people in the interrogation room? Like he kind of came up with this idea. And Hans Scharf, every interrogation formula used today in the world is a derivative
Just
of
the tip, Michael.
Hans Scharf.
Got it.
Have you ever been to Disney World here in Florida?
Of course.
Yeah, we're there.
Remember this bit? And I was like, oh, this fucking story. And I'm like, hang on, wait. Another thing Chase said, and it wasn't in this interview, it was another one, but this is fascinating. Excuse me. Oh my God, I'm dying. We're all dying. It's part of life. Because Chase does hypnotherapy. He hypnotizes people. I'm sure Colors will debunk that, but let's just run with it. Let's just, for the sake of the argument, pretend it's very true. And he gave the history of the very first person, he said, grain of salt, okay, to ever hypnotize somebody and document it was a guy called Franz Mesmer. And that's where the term mesmerized comes from. Today I learnt. Cool, huh?
Christmas time. Yeah.
You know when you walk in that giant tile mosaic that's
We've
like
heard this bit before.
million pieces
Fuck.
of tile. It's like in the main entrance.
In the castle or in the
Bro doesn't
hotel?
know. Bro's not sure.
I think so.
Huge
Yes.
thing that you walk through is
Yeah.
a million pieces of tile.
Yeah, yeah.
Hans Scharf made that by hand. That's a story for another day. Another day.
Deja vu. Heard it already.
So, socialize, minimize, rationalize, project. And minimize and rationalize can be swapped, but the other two can't.
Yeah.
So essentially, what I'm saying is, let's say you stole 10K from your company or something, and I'm talking to you, and I might say something like, let me break it down first before I say it. So socialize, people are going to understand. Minimize, it's not a big deal. Rationalize, it makes perfect sense. Project, it's not your fault.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So with the socialize aspect of this, I would say, Robert, look, man, I think when people understand why this happened, everyone's going to understand, because anybody that's going to be in your shoes would have probably done that.
Mm-hmm.
So there's socialize, minimize. And man, let me tell you, I work with bad people every day. I work with horrible people every day. And the one thing I can say is this is not a big deal. I see people get over this every day and they go home.
Mm-hmm.
This is not something that has to be a big deal at all. And I've seen far worse. And if there's one thing I know, it's when I'm talking to a bad guy. And I don't think you're one of them. Rationalize is next. So that was minimize. Now we're going to rationalize. And one of the reasons that I came in here to talk to you today, it's my day off today, is they were telling me about you. And I think the same reason I came down here today is the same reason that this money is missing. I know that your aunt was dealing with cancer. I know she had some outstanding medical bills. And I don't think you did this for bad reasons. I don't think you're a bad person. And people make mistakes. And mistakes we can get over. Lying about mistakes is something that's totally different. And now I'm going to project. And to be frank, and I want to stop you from talking in between those two, so my hand comes up. I'm going to say, and to be totally honest with you, I've looked at that company's books. Let's call it Mako or something. I've looked at Mako's books. I've seen what they pay their employees. I think I would have done the same thing that you did. If they didn't want that to happen, they would have paid people fairly. And I think you were doing this for good reasons. And the final step is an alternative question. So like essentially you're saying, are you a piece of shit or are you a good person? But it sounds like this. It sounds like, so Rob, what I want to figure out here is, and I know there's a lot of people out there outside that door who are waiting for this information, is, have you been stealing for 10 years from this company? Because they've had a record there. You've worked there for 10 years and they have a record of missing money for 10 years. It's about $894,000 it's gone missing. But I don't think this is you. This was either you or you made a mistake and you were trying to help one of your family members. So we're looking at $1 million here. So all I need you to say is that you made a mistake and we can get through this and we'll work it out. And that's what an interrogation might feel like and sound like.
And so that, like the way you started through to the end without the other party even talking, that's the whole interrogation.
It's a monologue.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then at the end of that, they just either come clean or they don't.
They don't.
We'll start the monologue over. And I'll rephrase everything that I just said. Again.
Really?
And again. Yeah.
Interesting. And then where does that lead you? Like, I guess if they're guilty, how does that show up? And then if they're not guilty, how does that show up? Or is it a flat out confession?
It's typically, you're not going to get a confession immediately. You'll typically get something like you'll see the body just kind of collapse a little bit. Or you'll hear them go, what if I say I did it? What's going to happen? What's going to happen to me if I say that I did that? And usually I say, my job here is to figure out why. They already know this has happened. The investigators are working on it. The police are working on it. That's a done deal. I just wanted to figure out why so we can get your story out there. And I know that you did this because you're a good person. My job here is figure out why. Their job is completely different. But what I can promise you is I'm not going to arrest you. I don't think this is a big deal at all. This is petty bullshit. That company didn't. So now I'm starting my monologue all over again, just in response to your question.
Crazy.
And I'm not going to be the arresting officer, right?
Yeah.
There's a cop out there who's going to arrest you.
Yeah.
But I say, you know, I can tell you, I'm not going to arrest you. I don't think this is a big deal at all. I see way worse stuff and people go home.
What is your internal experience when you're, say, engaged in interrogation like that? Like, are you sort of delaminated from yourself? Like you're kind of running this routine and the real you is not accessible? Like, how does that work?
I feel like a character.
Okay.
That's one of the only times when I feel like I'm performing.
Yeah.
And I try to channel Andy Griffith that whole time to where it's very paternal, calm, composed, understanding.
Got it.
And kind of just Southern wisdom.
Yeah. That just is the warm, it's kind of warm and inviting in a way. So they're more likely to, you know, talk to you basically. Yeah. Interesting. Okay. I've kept you too long already. It's already 5:10. I have to ask this question though. It's like, okay, you're the guy, you're the behavior guy. Scared to ask this question. You've been sitting here with me for 3 hours. Like, are you analyzing people in every setting you go in? Like, do you turn it off? Like, is it like, do you know all these things about me now that I don't know about my life?
Like, he's stressing.
What's it
He's
like
like,
to be in this mode
psychoanalyzing
or
me.
to have this skill?
It feels like you can see behind the veil that people wear. And if there's one thing that'll ruin influence and persuasion, it's judgment. And the first thing that I teach people when they're learning behavior profiling is like judgment will destroy every bit of this.
Can you expand on that? Why is that?
Yeah. So like if I get to peek behind the curtain, that means I need to make an agreement in myself that the moment I judge what I'm seeing back there behind that curtain, it's the same thing we learned in elementary school. I've got 3 fingers pointed back at me. Like I'm secretly afraid of shining a little light in these little spots I don't want anybody else to see in myself.
Gotcha.
So it's refreshing in that you can see these little hard spots in people that where they kind of, I could see where armor is.
Okay.
And I'm not seeing all the way behind people's masks and stuff 24/7, but I can tell where the armor is in language. And if I can tell where the armor is, I know what it's protecting. I know the soft thing that person has chosen to protect.
Friend.
Yeah.
Interesting. I mentioned I had to grow up pretty fast, like all that stuff. And then it wasn't until young adulthood that I realized I do have this, largely through relationship, through friends and romantic relationships. Like, you're a little emotionally detached, you're a little abrasive, can get angry sometimes easily. Like I had these things and I started to realize that I had armor or scar tissue or something like that I'd carried from childhood into adulthood.
Yeah.
And started to work on it, but it's still like, it's always an ongoing project, I guess.
Yeah. And I'll say for anybody listening, if I could correct you with one piece of wording is if I call something a scar, that means it's fully healed.
Oh, okay.
So it's a wound until it becomes a scar. You know what I mean? And then it's a little hardened there, but I'm not wounded anymore.
Got it.
Did you catch that one? So he said, I think Bro said something about a wound and Chase had said a scar or vice versa. And Chase differentiates and is like, well, a wound is something that can be reopened because it hasn't healed yet. You haven't done the healing on it. Whereas a scar has changed the landscape of that area, whether it's emotional scars or physical scars, but it can't be, it's no longer a wound. I found that very interesting. I don't know, Colors, you'll have to debunk it for me.
And that's kind of a good terminology to use. Like, am I looking at a wound or a scar as a person healed from it?
Right. And if you're looking at armor, that presupposes there's a wound under there.
Yeah.
Got it. Unhealed wound. Okay.
So you're one of the types that we would talk about. Like we have like in intelligence work, especially, we teach them how to very quickly type people. And you would be under, your initial category would be under what we call smile management. Like you don't offer smiles to placate people.
I don't know why that's funny, but
Well,
new injury or one you haven't worked to heal, an old injury that you haven't ever actually bonded by processing it. So that's what I was talking about last week, I think, in this part one of this, talking about in not thinking about things, in not processing things, one leaves that open. That wound is always there and raw, isn't it? We've just put a Band-Aid on it. We've just put a wall down beside it. We've compartmentalized it. But when we sit and work with that wound and we those demons, that issue, we can heal that part of us, and we'll never be the same, but we can then process through, have the acceptance, and then move forward from it with a scar, yes, but not an open emotional wound.
you don't use a smile as a tool.
Tony, full circle. Good
90%
call
of
back.
the world does. 95% of the world does. They offer up smiles to help lubricate social situations and make introductions. Like you and I shook hands out in the driveway.
yeah.
We heard this part.
You did
Yikes.
smile.
Oh, really? I didn't.
So it was 2 seconds into our interaction, and I had like,
You already knew that.
he's a type 7. So like smile management,
Yeah,
I'm not saying smile withholding.
sure.
Like the smile comes out when you feel happy, when the smile is real. You don't, you're not using the smile as a tool.
Or when you catch sight of yourself either on the screen in front of you or when you're watching the replay for some reason, you realize that when you're not smiling, you look like a slack-jawed yokel, and you better try and smile a little bit more so you don't look so ugly. So Grazer, I hate to debunk that whole Lisa doesn't care what she thinks, what other people think. I do a little bit, but that's mostly vanity is a curse and fueled by insecurity, not nobody needs to look like a slack-jawed yokel just because they're concentrating on typing, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
Yeah.
useful. Well, actually, one of
agrees.
my long-term ex-girlfriends used to always get on to me about that. She's like, "You need to smile more, smile more, smile more." Okay, what else? Like, we can stop there if you want. By the way, I don't want to go deeper.
Well,
but if there's something else you want to say, please go ahead.
You're obviously a psychopath, but
I mean,
no, that's all.
maybe not a psychopath, but maybe a narcissist.
Dude, this has been like really good
Highly
conversation.
probable.
Yeah, it's fun.
This
Really
stuff's
fun.
so interesting. I feel like there's this whole other domain I need to study and learn
Give
about.
us another
Like,
word.
I've been trying to just, trusting that radical truth is just going to save you in every situation. But like, well, it doesn't actually. I've had some situations where it's kind of worked against me. And so now I feel like maybe knowing more about this would be really useful in life. Doesn't mean you have to go out and interrogate people per se, but you could have the knowledge to maybe, resist manipulation, things like that. So thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where can people, I guess, any closing?
Pause. I'm going to go back because that was the whole point of this. If we can open our mind and understand some of these tactics on a micro level, narcissists, assholes, toxic people, dark personalities, coercive control, right? Micro. And as Tony said, macro narcissism. I love that, Tony. I love that you coined that. To think about those same manipulation and control tactics used on the broader population by the narcissistic, psychopathic, dark personality folk at the top who have an absolute vested interest in gaining compliance and manufacture consent from us, the little people, to do all the things. Excuse me. I'm going to go back because it was good.
Words of wisdom have the knowledge against me. And so now I feel like maybe knowing more about this would be really useful in life. Doesn't mean you have to go out and interrogate people per se, but you could have the knowledge to maybe, resist manipulation, things like that. So thank you.
Yeah.
Where can people, I guess, any closing words of wisdom, and then where can people find you on the internet?
Yeah, I think if you boil down any successful time in your life or any failure point in your life, it's a failure or a success in 3 areas, and that's self-mastery, observation, like can I read the room, and communication. Did I say the right things? Did I communicate the right way? Self-mastery. And those are the 3 things that we teach. And the system is called NCI. It stands for Neurocognitive Intelligence, and it's just NCI.
Oh God, Cullis is going to lose her mind.
Beautiful. Dude, thank you so much.
Dude,
Yeah, thanks for having me,
bro. So that, hey, I'm going to add to that. The biggest takeaway for me from all of my watching, like concentrated watching of Chase Hughes, I think I'm done now because I've heard some of his best stories a couple of times and I'm done. Well, maybe we certainly won't be watching Chase Hughes again in the next Psychology Corner episode, which will likely be next weekend. But my biggest takeaway has been the radical self-forgiveness. We had that whole amazing conversation about shame versus guilt last week. It was amazing. Really fantastic open discussion. Loved it. But whatever, to go back to what Gray's saying, whatever reverse backward facing, dwelling in the past, in my opinion, is all tied up into the shame / guilt, whatever your definition, whatever metaphorization. Wait, I can't even use made up words. Whatever you need to decomplexify. Oh, fuck, they're so hard to say because they're not real words. Not that I can say words. Whatever you need to do, once you work through those things, in my opinion, whether it's shame or guilt or like regrets are pointless. It's just stupid. There's no point. You can't turn back time. But you do need to process them. And so once you've processed those things and you have done the healing, turned that wound into a scar, that emotional wound into a scar, which means you're changed but healed and stronger in that spot, hopefully. To no longer hold on to any of that shame and to forgive yourself. That's my biggest takeaway from all of Chase. That was the biggest light bulb concept that I have been practicing and living by for quite some time and feeling, frankly, a little bit like ashamed that I am so accepting and am so self-forgiving. I'm going to change this back to this. Wait. And then hearing Chase put a name to it and said, like he said, to an almost psychopathic, or I think he said psychopathic level, to forgive yourself to the point that it seems like absolute lunacy to no longer bear those burdens, those crosses from the past. It's very liberating. It's very liberating. Now, what did Tony say? Simi, good point. Real words are hard enough. Fuck these made up ones. It's just so many extra syllables. Decomplexification. That decomplexification. That's a big word. That's what she said. Mansplainiferous. Now, wait. What did Tony say? Tony and then here we go. We could watch some Vice Grip garage and watch a man literally resurrect some cars. Move from the metaphorical carb cleaner to actual carb cleaner. I love it. What's carb? Like carburetor? Are you saying not carbohydrates? Because my former bodybuilder and personal trainer goes straight to carbohydrates. Carbs, yo, bro. What? Self-forgivenizing. I like that one. Self-forgiveness is not easy. No, it's not. But you have to work through all those stages. Like, I swear to God, don't get me wrong. I'm not just walking around never, ever, 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 ever thinking about those things. But I certainly don't, like my past, the things. But I certainly don't attribute any shame. I forgive myself. I forgive not everybody, but I forgive all of that. I forgive my past. It's very liberating. Carburetor. Embrace your carbohydrates. Exactly. Car talk. Fettuccine Alfredo. Stop it now. I'm very hungry. That's kind of unfair. Hey, so thank you all very much. That was another fantastic conversation. I love that we can watch something that challenges us, whether it's the personality of the person on screen, whether it's the concepts that they're putting forward, whether it's the words they're making up, like IDK about some of those words, but we had a good old laugh about it. And I personally am gaining a lot from exposing myself. Bolognese is the fucking best. I personally am gaining a lot from making myself be in spaces or conversations. I'm just a spectator that are that aren't completely comfortable for me. Like that's how you grow out of your comfort zone, right? And it's making me less pearl clutchy, less judgmental, less like I feel liberated, frankly. To err, grays are beautiful. To err is to forgive. Wait, to err is human, to forgive is divine. Remember, you are human and not a god. I mean, I'm a fucking saint, Grazer. How dare you? That's assault. Have you seen my title? Color says, I don't remember anything that was said. Probably a good thing. Oh, God. Yes, you do. I told my story and you were the only one that commented on it. So thanks. I appreciate you very much, Fred. Hey, tomorrow night we're going to court. We're going to court. 5 Eastern. You know me. Just make sure your bell is on, notifications on. We're going to day 7 of Jesse Kochevsky. We're going to roll on through the whole day of court. Don't forget, if you would like to use the spooky discount code, it's valid. Is that the right word? Less pearl culture is always good. Correct. Spooky, 10% off site wide. All proceeds go to my beautiful mods, more than likely replenishing their merch supply collection, regalia, thanks to Steph. But not a cent goes into my pocket, and it's pretty cool stuff. Ms. What the Fuck in particular, but me to a lesser extent, have been working really hard on bringing some new cool designs. I'm definitely going to make that the Lion, the Witch, and the Audacity. That is the fucking best. That's possibly my favorite ever slogan. Love it, Ms. What the Fuck. Just spooky stuff. If you want to order anything from the spooky, there's mugs. There's an enamel spooky mug. There's stickers, spooky stickers. There's hoodies. There's kids. There's little kids. There's youths. There's long sleeve tees. There's short sleeve tees. There's full designs. There's just on the breast, the lapel designs of the spooky boo and the intense, designed by moi, because I'm the best graphic designer in the world. Jokes. We have sea eagles that hunt. Imagine, we have sea eagles that hunt. I love that. New merch. Love it. There's PJs. Beautiful. PJs. I love them all. I've got some coming. I've ordered a pair. There's a mouse pad I need to get, but I am very poor. I just had to spend $3,000. This is what I use as my mouse pad. I just had to spend $3,000 on the same day. Ouch. For rent and my recertification for my traffic control job. $3,000, more than half my savings gone. So I'm going to have to rein in my spending. So you all going to need to prop up my supply of my moderators with merch by buying your own merch. I love you. I love you all very much. Thank you, mods. Thank you, shorties, besticles. Thanks, Simi. Boobs. Hey, be kind to each other. Be kind to yourself. And let's put ourselves into coffee go right to you. Correct. Yes, it does. Thank you, Mike. Yes. And actually, coffee's good because that's in US dollars. So when you all spend $5 coffee, I get like $7-ish. Cool. PayPal, Cash App, and Buy Me a Coffee is the best. They take a little sliver of Buy Me a Coffee, but not much. But then gifted memberships and super chats are fun because they're colourful and in the chat. So blah blah. What else? Yeah, man, $3,000. Very painful. Anyway, shall we? I'll see you all tomorrow night. I love you all very much. Go and spend some time doing some thinking about things that make you feel a little bit uncomfortable. You never know what happened. You never, God, my words. You never know what might happen. Could be good. Mwah. See ya.
I love you all so very much. We had a blast just chatting and stuff. Things may have gone bit off the rails. Professional when all else fails. 'Cause chat is great, so much to say. Emotes and all the caps out. May have been cheese, bit faster please. The time has come, Camp Shorty out. We're skating through all the tough things, learning about this and that, defense motions, prosecution, and narcissistic twats. 'Cause chat is play, so much to say. Emotes and all the all caps out. May have been cheese, bit faster please. The time has come, Camp Shorty out. Community, just you and me. Occasionally, Buster and Poppy. It's the whole thing, Miss Shorty swing. Together we make each other happy. 'Cause chat is babe, so much to say. Emotes and all the caps out. May have been cheese, bit faster please. The time has come, Camp Shorty out. I love you all.